Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's quiet escape. As the gentle crackling of the fire fills the room, we find ourselves transported to a simpler time, far removed from the grand strategies and bustling streets of empire. Tonight, we enter the serene world of a carpenter in Paris under Napoleon's rule, where life flows at its own unhurried pace, far from the pressures of power. Picture yourself sitting by a soft, glowing fire in a small, modest workshop. The scent of freshly cut wood fills the air, while the soothing crackle of the flames provides the perfect backdrop to the peaceful moments of a craftsman's day. The rhythmic sound of carving, the soft tapping of tools, and the slow passing of time envelop you in a world of simplicity and tranquility. Before we begin, take a moment to settle in. Dim the lights, relax, and let the warmth of the fire ease your mind. There's no rush tonight, just the steady flow of a day in Paris, a carpenter's humble work, and a city quietly moving along in the background, unnoticed by most. And remember, feel free to leave a comment, telling me where you're tuning in from and what time it is in your part of the world. Let the calm of the evening reach us, wherever we are. Now, close your eyes if you wish, and let the crackling fire and the gentle moments of the carpenter's life take you away. As the first light of dawn gently pours through the small window, Pierre the carpenter stirs in his simple bed. The soft glow of morning casts a tranquil hue across his room, filling the space with a warmth that feels like a gentle embrace. The city of Paris, still wrapped in the quiet of early hours, seems distant, as if the world outside has not yet fully woken up. Pierre lies there for a moment, not rushing to move, not burdened by any pressing thoughts. The quiet of the morning invites him to pause, to breathe deeply and let the stillness fill him. He stretches slowly, the muscles in his back and arms unwinding after the night's rest. The stretch is not hurried, but deliberate, each movement savouring the moment of calm. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool, fresh air of the morning, and with it, he feels a quiet sense of peace settle over him, washing away any remnants of worry or fatigue from the day before. In these early moments, there is no rush, no appointments, no demands, just the soft rhythm of his own breath and the gentle quiet that surrounds him. Pierre appreciates this time, this sacred pause before the world fully awakens and demands its usual share of attention. It's in these small, seemingly insignificant moments that he finds comfort. The simplicity of waking up without haste, the luxury of having time to just be. He allows his eyes to linger on the ceiling above him, watching the shadows shift with the rise of the sun, feeling the soft warmth spread across his skin. Everything feels as it should be, steady and unchanging. There is no need to hurry through this peaceful morning, no reason to rush into the demands of the day. The world outside may be bustling, but here, in this quiet space, time moves slowly, just as it should. After a few moments, Pierre finally sits up in bed, placing his feet on the cool wooden floor beneath him. He feels the ground, steady and solid, as if the earth itself is reminding him to remain grounded. His small, modest room is neat, and the scent of wood, fresh and earthy, lingers in the air, a scent he knows well from the work he does every day. But for now, it's not about the work. It's about being present in the moment, about taking in the peace that surrounds him. Pierre's mind begins to drift toward the day ahead, but it's not filled with stress or urgency. He knows that whatever the day brings, it will come at its own pace. The simplicity of his life, his work, his quiet moments, reminds him that there is beauty in the ordinary. There is meaning in the small, repetitive tasks that fill his days. He doesn't need to look for grand achievements or seek validation from the outside world. His work is enough, his life is enough, and the stillness of this morning reinforces that truth. He walks slowly to the small wash basin by the window, splashing cool water on his face. The sensation is refreshing, the chill of the water waking him gently. As he looks out the window, he sees the soft light of the morning creeping over the rooftops of Paris. The city still quiet, the streets empty save for the occasional passer-by. The world is just beginning to stir, and yet here in his little home, Pierre feels the weight of the world slip away. There is no need for rush, no need for worry. In this moment, he is just a man, simply waking up to another day. He steps back from the window, allowing himself a quiet moment to reflect. The life he leads is simple, yes, but it is fulfilling in its own way. There is peace in the small things, waking to the soft glow of morning light, breathing deeply and knowing that today will unfold as it is meant to, at its own pace. For now, Pierre is content to just be. No grand plans, no pressure, just the quiet hum of life moving slowly, softly, and peacefully around him. As he moves toward the door to begin his day, Pierre takes one last deep breath, filling his lungs with the fresh morning air. He steps outside, ready to begin his work, but not in a rush. Time moves slowly, and with it, Pierre finds peace. There is no stress, no pressure, only the simple, beautiful unfolding of another day. As the soft light of morning continues to stretch across the sky, Pierre moves through his modest kitchen, beginning his morning rituals with an unhurried grace. There is no rush in his steps, no sense of urgency to be somewhere, do something. His day unfolds slowly, like the gentle turning of a page in a quiet book, inviting him to savor every moment, no matter how simple it may seem. Pierre's hands move slowly as he prepares his breakfast, a simple meal of bread and tea. He takes the time to slice the bread carefully, appreciating the texture and the aroma that fills the air as the knife meets the crust. There's no need to hurry through this task. The bread, still warm from the oven, is soft and comforting, and Pierre enjoys the slow, rhythmic movement of slicing each piece. He knows that this quiet time in the morning, when the world is still waking up, is precious, a moment of peace before the day begins. He sets the bread aside and prepares his tea, the delicate sound of water filling the kettle, the soft hum of the flames beneath it. The warmth of the tea, once brewed, offers him a gentle embrace. Pierre holds the cup in his hands for a moment, feeling its warmth seep into his fingers, and takes a slow sip. The taste is simple, but satisfying, and he lets the warmth of the tea flow through him, calming his body and mind. There's no need to rush the process. The day will unfold at its own pace, and there is no hurry to get to the next moment. As Pierre enjoys his breakfast, he sits by the window, watching the streets of Paris slowly come to life. The first light of morning has coaxed a few early risers onto the cobblestone streets, pedestrians strolling at a leisurely pace, vendors opening their shops, the city beginning to stir. But it is still quiet, with only the soft sound of footsteps and the occasional murmur of distant voices. Paris at this hour is calm, its rhythm slow and deliberate. Pierre's eyes trace the movements of the people below, but he does not feel the need to join them just yet. There is no rush, no pressure. The world is moving at its own pace, and he is content to watch, to be present in this moment of stillness. He sips his tea again, letting the warmth fill him as he takes in the scene. The simplicity of it all, the slow rising of the sun, the quiet awakening of the streets, the peaceful start to another day, reminds him that life does not need to be hurried to be meaningful. In this moment, as he enjoys his simple meal and the calm of the morning, Pierre reflects on how easy it is to get caught up in the demands of the world, to rush from one thing to the next, without stopping to appreciate the little things. But there is wisdom in slowing down, in allowing the moments to unfold without forcing them. As the tea warms him and the bread sustains him, Pierre realizes that life is full of these small, quiet moments. These are the moments that matter, the ones that bring peace, the ones that allow him to reconnect with himself and with the world around him. The hustle of the city, the busy streets, the demands of life, all of these can wait. For now, Pierre allows himself to rest in this space of calm, of quiet enjoyment. The morning is here, unfolding gently, and he is content to be in it, to embrace the simplicity of the moment. It's a reminder that we are often in too much of a hurry, rushing through life without taking the time to savor the small, meaningful moments. But in this stillness, Pierre finds a sense of clarity, a sense of peace, that helps him face the day ahead with a light heart and a clear mind. He finishes his breakfast slowly, savouring the last bite of bread, the last sip of tea before setting the cup down gently. The streets outside have begun to grow livelier now, but Pierre is in no hurry to join the world outside. The day will come in its own time. For now, he takes a moment to reflect, to appreciate the simple pleasures of his quiet morning, and to remind himself that there is no rush, only the steady unfolding of life, one moment at a time. The morning light grows a little brighter as Pierre steps outside, leaving the warmth of his small home behind. The cool, crisp air greets him as he walks along the cobblestone streets of Paris, the quiet of the early hour still hanging in the air. The city, though vast and bustling during the day, is calm now, almost serene. In these peaceful moments, it feels as if time itself is moving slowly, allowing him to enjoy the stillness before the world fully awakens. The streets are empty, save for the occasional stray cat that lazily walks by, its paws softly padding against the stones. The shops remain closed, their shutters pulled down, and the usual clatter of carts and voices has yet to fill the air. There is only the soft sound of his footsteps, steady and unhurried, as they echo quietly in the cool morning air. The world seems to be holding its breath, waiting for the sun to rise higher, for the day to fully begin. As Pierre walks, he notices how the soft light of the morning casts long shadows on the buildings that line the street. The gentle glow of the sun reflects off the stone walls, illuminating the edges of the buildings, the quiet details of the city that often go unnoticed. The shadows stretch lazily across the ground as if taking their time to move, just as Pierre is taking his time on this walk. There's no rush, no pressure to get anywhere quickly, just the soothing rhythm of walking through a city that is still asleep. Pierre takes a deep breath, letting the cool air fill his lungs. There is something calming about this walk, about the way the world is quiet, just for a while. It reminds him that life doesn't need to be a race. In these early moments of the day, the world moves slowly, and that slow pace feels like a gift, one that he doesn't take for granted. It's in these small, peaceful moments that he finds clarity, a reminder that the hustle and bustle of life will always be there. But so too can the quiet, simple moments that restore him. As he walks further, Pierre notices the way the trees in the nearby park sway gently in the morning breeze, their leaves rustling softly. The sound is soothing, almost like a whispered secret, reminding him of the simplicity of nature, of how it moves slowly without hurry. He allows himself to be present in this moment, to feel the peace that comes from walking without a destination, from moving through the world with no urgency. The air feels fresh, almost clean, as if the city itself is taking its time to wake up, to prepare for the day ahead. Pierre feels a quiet connection to this peaceful morning, as if he too is in sync with the slow rhythm of the city. His walk is unhurried, and in that he finds peace. Each step feels purposeful, but without the need for haste. It is a simple walk, yes, but it is a walk that nourishes him, offering a moment of tranquility in a world that often demands so much. As he reaches the end of his walk, Pierre feels a quiet sense of gratitude for this simple morning ritual. It is a reminder that life, in its most peaceful form, is not about rushing from one thing to the next. It's about appreciating the small moments, the quiet pauses, and the soft rhythms that make up the day. And in this moment, as he steps closer to his workshop, Pierre feels ready to begin his work, knowing that the calmness of this morning walk will stay with him throughout the day. He takes one last deep breath, savouring the quiet air, before turning the corner to enter the workshop. The city is slowly beginning to stir now, but for this brief time, Pierre has experienced the peace of Paris in the early hours, a peace that will linger with him throughout the day. As Pierre approaches his workshop, he feels a quiet sense of contentment. The building, though modest, holds a special place in his heart, a space filled with the warmth of wooden beams and the tools of his trade. The door creaks gently as he pushes it open, stepping into the calm, familiar atmosphere. The air inside is cool, tinged with the comforting scent of fresh timber. It is the smell of creation, of work done with care and precision, and in this moment the workshop feels like a sanctuary, a place where time slows down, allowing him to fully immerse himself in the art of his craft. The sunlight filters softly through the small windows, casting gentle beams of light that dance across the wooden floor. There's a quiet stillness in the room, as if the world outside has faded away. Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the wood's rich scent and letting the calmness of the space wash over him. This is his space, his haven, where the noise of the world cannot reach him. Here, he is free to work at his own pace, to create with purpose, but without rush. Pierre moves to his workbench where several pieces of wood are waiting to be shaped into something meaningful. There is no urgency, no deadline pushing him forward. The task before him is simple, yet profound. Each piece of timber holds potential, a chance to create something that will be valued for its function, for its beauty, and for the care with which it was made. Pierre takes a moment to run his hands over the smooth surface of the wood, feeling its texture, its grain. There is something deeply grounding about the act of working with his hands, something that reminds him of the importance of slowing down and connecting with the process, rather than rushing to the end result. The first task of the day is to carve a chair leg. Pierre picks up his tools, an old but reliable set of chisels, and begins his work. Each movement is slow and deliberate, the rhythm of the chisel against the wood creating a soothing sound that fills the space. He doesn't rush, there is no need to. Time moves slowly here, and Pierre is content to follow its pace. He works methodically, with care, as each cut brings the wood closer to its final form. There is peace in this routine, a quiet joy in the process of creation, and it reminds Pierre that life, much like woodwork, is about taking the time to shape it with patience and purpose. As Pierre works, he reflects on the simplicity of his life, the small joys that come from working with his hands, from creating something that will last. In a world that often feels rushed, his work offers him a respite, a chance to slow down and focus on the present. He knows that in this workshop there is no need to worry about tomorrow, no need to feel the pressure of the world's demands. The only thing that matters in this space is the steady rhythm of the work, the simple satisfaction of each task completed. The sound of the chisel against the wood becomes a calming melody, a song of steady progress. Pierre is lost in the motion of it all, in the quiet focus of his task. There is no room for stress, no place for worry. The world outside may be moving fast, but here, in the quiet of the workshop, Pierre is in control of his time. He is not bound by clocks or deadlines. He is bound only by the wood and the slow, deliberate process of shaping it into something beautiful and useful. With each stroke of the chisel, Pierre feels a sense of peace settle deeper within him. There's no rush in his work and no need to hurry through life. The chair leg slowly begins to take shape, its form becoming clearer with each passing moment. Pierre steps back for a moment to admire his progress, taking in the simple beauty of the piece. The wood, once rough and unshaped, now holds promise, now holds purpose. And with this, Pierre feels a quiet satisfaction that can only come from the act of creation, a satisfaction that can never be rushed. As the day continues, Pierre moves from one task to the next, each piece of wood becoming part of a larger whole. The work is simple, but it is fulfilling. The hours pass slowly, gently, as Pierre loses himself in the steady rhythm of his craft. He knows that his work will not be finished in a hurry, and that is exactly how he likes it. In the stillness of the workshop, he is reminded that life, in its truest form, is about the quiet moments, the moments spent focusing on the task at hand, without distraction, without stress. By the time the sun begins to dip lower in the sky, Pierre has made progress on the chair he's been working on. It's not finished yet, but it doesn't matter. Each step of the process has been a small, meaningful moment, and that is enough. He takes a moment to admire the work he's done, the way the wood has slowly transformed under his hands. The day has passed in a peaceful flow, and as Pierre begins to clean his tools, he feels a deep sense of contentment. There is no rush to finish, no need to look ahead. In this moment, everything is as it should be. As the soft light of the afternoon filters through the workshop's small windows, Pierre stands still for a moment, breathing in the quiet of the space. The day has unfolded at its own pace, calm and unhurried, just like every other. And yet, in this familiar routine, there is a sense of contentment, a quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing that, in this moment, he is exactly where he is meant to be. Time moves slowly here, gently, as if it too is caught in the rhythm of Pierre's steady movements. Pierre begins his work by organizing his tools, a task he has done countless times before. The simple act of picking up each chisel, each mallet, and placing it carefully in its designated spot on the workbench brings a sense of peace. There is no rush, no urgency to complete this task. Pierre knows that in this small moment of order, he is setting the tone for the rest of his day. He takes his time, methodically arranging the tools, appreciating the familiar feel of each one in his hand, the weight of the mallet, the smoothness of the handles. Each tool has its place, just as he has his place in this peaceful workshop. As he moves from one tool to the next, Pierre reflects on the comfort of this routine. It is not the rush of life, not the constant chase for achievement, but the quiet repetition of simple tasks that bring him peace. There is wisdom in routine, he thinks, a wisdom that teaches us that life does not always have to be about change or progress. Sometimes the most meaningful moments come from the act of doing something familiar, something simple, with care and attention. And in those moments, we find contentment. The sound of the tools settling into place is soft, almost soothing, like a gentle lullaby that helps Pierre sink deeper into the rhythm of his day. There is no noise here, no distractions, no pressure to move faster, just the steady, calming flow of organizing, of preparing for the work ahead. The quiet of the workshop wraps around him like a warm blanket, and in that peace, Pierre feels the weight of the world slowly melt away. There is no room for stress here. There is no need to hurry. Once the tools are arranged, Pierre takes a moment to step back and admire the simplicity of the space. The workbench is neat, the tools ready, the wood waiting to be shaped. Everything is in its place, and for a brief moment the world outside feels distant. It is just him, the wood, and the gentle rhythm of the work that lies ahead. He feels at peace, grounded in the present. And for that, he is grateful. Pierre begins his first task of the day, picking up a piece of wood that has been carefully chosen for its quality and grain. The first cut is always a quiet moment, a beginning that sets the tone for the work to come. He runs his fingers along the surface of the wood, appreciating its smoothness, its texture. The wood is still raw, but in his hands it will become something useful, something beautiful, shaped by the slow, steady movements of his craft. As he works, Pierre's mind drifts to the simple beauty of this routine, the act of carving, of shaping, of bringing something new into the world, one careful cut at a time. It is not a task that requires speed, nor is it a task that demands perfection. What it requires is patience, presence, and the quiet joy of creating something with your hands. And in this, Pierre finds a sense of fulfillment that cannot be found in the rush of the world outside. Each stroke of the chisel is deliberate, each motion calm. There is no rush to finish, no need to worry about what comes next. Pierre knows that in this moment, the only thing that matters is the work in front of him. The world will move at its own pace, and he will move with it. But here, in the peaceful quiet of the workshop, there is no hurry. As the day continues, Pierre settles into the comfort of his routine. The work progresses slowly, steadily, without pressure. The rhythm of his hands, the sound of the chisel, the warmth of the wood, it all comes together in a quiet harmony, and Pierre feels a deep sense of peace. There is no rush to finish, there is no stress. There is only the steady unfolding of each task, each moment at its own pace. In this space, Pierre finds freedom, not in the absence of routine, but in the embrace of it. There is something deeply comforting about the predictability of the day, the simple tasks that fill it. And as he works, he is reminded that sometimes the greatest peace comes not from rushing towards something, but from simply being present in the moment, in the work, in the rhythm of life. The soft chime of the doorbell echoes through the workshop, signaling the arrival of a customer. Pierre looks up from his work, a calm smile crossing his face as he sets down the tool he was holding. He takes a moment to breathe in the peaceful atmosphere of the shop before turning his attention to the man who has entered. The customer, a middle-aged man with a kind face, stands just inside the doorway, his presence filling the space without overwhelming it. The quiet of the workshop surrounds them both, and for a moment, neither speaks. There is no need to rush into conversation. Pierre lets the silence settle, allowing the calmness of the room to envelop them both. "Good afternoon," the man says, his voice soft, like the gentle rustling of leaves in the wind. Pierre greets him with a nod, acknowledging the simple exchange. There is no need for pleasantries or small talk. Their time together is brief but meaningful. "I'm here to pick up the chair," the man continues, his eyes scanning the workshop, taking in the array of wooden pieces that fill the space. "It looks just like the one you promised me." Pierre smiles again, stepping over to a nearby workbench where the chair, the one he has worked on with such care, stands waiting. He runs his hand over the smooth wood, feeling the grain beneath his fingers, and with a quiet confidence he says, "I've taken great care with this piece. It's solid, sturdy. You'll find it lasting for many years." The man steps closer, examining the chair. He runs his fingers along the edges of the wood, appreciating the quality of the craftsmanship. There is no rush, no impatience in his movements. It is as if he, too, is taking in the peace of the moment, letting the quietness of the workshop settle around him. "I can see that," the man says, his voice filled with quiet approval. "It feels good, like it's made to last." Pierre nods, pleased with the simplicity of the exchange. "I believe in making things that endure," he says softly. "Things that hold meaning over time, things that don't wear out quickly or fade away. That's the beauty of craftsmanship. It's in the small, thoughtful details that make something last." For a moment, the man stands still, his gaze lingering on the chair, appreciating not just its form, but the care that went into its creation. The conversation has been short, but in its simplicity, it feels complete. There's no need for elaborate explanations or hurried words. The connection between them, through the work that has been done, is enough. "You've done well," the customer says, finally breaking the silence with a quiet smile. "I'm grateful for the care you've put into this." Pierre's heart feels light at the words, but he simply nods, acknowledging the compliment with the same calm grace he brings to his work. "It's my pleasure. May it bring you comfort for many years." With the exchange complete, the man pays for the chair, the transaction smooth and unhurried. Pierre carefully wraps it, making sure it is secure before handing it over. The customer takes the piece, and for a moment the workshop feels even quieter, the space once again returning to its peaceful solitude. As the man turns to leave, he offers one final word. "Thank you, Pierre," he says, his voice warm. "You've created something special here." Pierre watches him leave, the soft chime of the doorbell ringing once more as it closes behind him. The workshop falls back into its familiar stillness, the only sound the faint crackling of the fire in the corner. Pierre stands for a moment, allowing the quiet of the room to fill him once again. It's a simple exchange, but it's enough. The work has been completed, the customer satisfied, and in that there is a quiet contentment. He returns to his work, picking up the task he had set aside earlier. As he does, he reflects on the interaction, the brief but meaningful conversation, and the reminder that life doesn't need to be full of noise to be fulfilling. Sometimes it's the quiet moments, the small exchanges, that hold the most meaning. As Pierre settles into his work once again, he allows the calmness of the workshop to wash over him. There is no rush, no need to hurry. The world moves at its own pace, and Pierre is content to follow its steady rhythm, one task at a time. With the workshop now empty and silent, save for the soft whispers of the outside world, Pierre settles back into his routine. The tools lie waiting, the wood patiently awaiting its transformation. The faint light from the afternoon sun continues to filter through the small windows, casting long shadows on the floor. In this serene space, the noise of the world seems distant, and the pace of time slows down to match the rhythm of his movements. Pierre picks up his chisel, its familiar weight grounding him in the present. As he begins to carve, the rhythmic sound of the tool gliding through the wood fills the room. It's a soothing sound, one that has become as comforting to him as the steady beat of a heart. Each stroke is deliberate, slow and measured, creating an almost meditative atmosphere. The carving itself is not a task to be rushed, but one to be savoured, a quiet conversation between Pierre's hands and the wood, a silent understanding of the beauty that will unfold from the simple, raw material. As he continues to work, the rhythmic motion of carving becomes a gentle pulse, a steady flow of creation that takes him deeper into the quiet of the workshop. The world outside may be bustling, but in this space there is only the sound of his tools and the steady beat of his own thoughts. Pierre feels no pressure, no urgency. There is no rush to finish, no deadlines pushing him forward. There is only the present moment, and in it there is peace. He sets down the chisel and picks up the sandpaper, the soft rasp of the paper against the wood another soothing melody. The motion of sanding is slow and deliberate, smoothing the surface of the wood until it feels soft to the touch. Pierre enjoys the repetition of the motion, the way the sandpaper glides over the surface, gradually refining it with each pass. There is a quiet satisfaction in this process, in the way the wood begins to reveal its true beauty, slowly, almost imperceptibly. As he works, Pierre reflects on the nature of his craft. There is wisdom in the patience required to shape something with care, to allow it to unfold in its own time. Much like life itself, creation is not something to be rushed. It is in the quiet, deliberate moments, the soft rasp of the chisel, the slow movement of the hand, that true beauty emerges. In the workshop, there is no need for the noise of the outside world. There is only the steady rhythm of work, of creation, of unfolding time. The quiet of the workshop is a companion to Pierre, as familiar and comforting as the wood he shapes. He finds solace in the simplicity of the task, in the stillness that surrounds him. The world may be full of distractions, but here, in this small, humble space, Pierre is at peace. The repetitive motions of his hands, carving, sanding, smoothing, are a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful moments come from the smallest actions, the ones done with intention, with care. As the afternoon passes, Pierre continues his work, feeling the steady calm of the workshop fill him. There is no rush, no hurry. The chair he is shaping will be finished when it is finished, and it will be done with care, with patience. He is not in a race against time. He is simply present in the moment, savouring the quiet, savouring the work. With each stroke, Pierre feels a sense of contentment wash over him. There is a deep peace in the simplicity of the task, in the steady rhythm of the work, in the quiet that fills the room. He doesn't need anything else. In the stillness of the workshop, he has everything he needs. It is enough to be here, to be present, to work with his hands, and to enjoy the calm that comes from the steady unfolding of time. As the light begins to fade and the workshop grows quieter, Pierre finishes his work for the day. The chair is nearly complete, its form taking shape beautifully. Pierre stands back and admires the piece, not with the eyes of a perfectionist, but with the quiet satisfaction of one who has taken the time to do his work with care. The day is done, and there is no rush to finish. There is only the satisfaction of knowing that the work has been done well, slowly, steadily, and with intention. Pierre takes a moment to breathe, to appreciate the peace of the workshop, before he gathers his tools and prepares to leave for the day. The world outside is still there, waiting, but for now, Pierre is content to leave it behind. The quiet of the workshop has been enough, and in it he has found the peace he needs to face another day. As the clock slowly ticks away the minutes, Pierre decides it is time for a brief pause. The rhythm of his work has been steady, calming, but now he senses a gentle shift in the day, a quiet invitation to step away, if only for a moment. He stretches his arms, feeling the muscles in his back relax, and then, with a soft sigh, he makes his way toward the small window in the corner of his workshop. The light outside is soft, casting a golden glow over the cobbled streets of Paris. The world beyond his workshop moves at its own pace, but from this vantage point, it feels as though time itself has slowed. Pierre steps outside for a moment of calm, his simple meal of bread, cheese, and an apple waiting for him by the window. There's no need to hurry, there's no rush to get back to work. For now, it is just him, the peaceful sounds of the city, and the simple joy of this brief break. He sits down at the small wooden table, placing the food in front of him. The bread, still warm from the bakery, the cheese soft and inviting, and the apple, its skin a deep red, promising a sweetness that will carry him through the rest of the day. He takes a moment to appreciate the simplicity of the meal, the quiet luxury of having time to enjoy it without interruption. As he begins to eat, his gaze drifts toward the streets below, where the world moves slowly, just like his work. The cobbled streets stretch before him, their familiar pattern bringing a sense of calm. A few pedestrians wander by, walking at their own pace, their steps unhurried. There's no hustle here, no rush to get anywhere. The occasional carriages rumble by quietly, their wheels turning with a rhythm that matches the peaceful beat of the city. It is as though Paris itself has entered a moment of stillness, allowing Pierre to enjoy the calm of the day. Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool air that seeps through the open window. The breeze feels refreshing, like a gentle reminder that the world, despite its busyness, can also be slow and simple. He watches the trees sway softly in the breeze, their leaves rustling in a way that sounds like a quiet conversation between nature and the city. The view is simple, but there is a deep beauty in it, a beauty that reminds him that there is no need for anything more than this moment. He continues to eat slowly, savouring each bite, feeling the nourishment fill him. There is no need to rush through this meal, no reason to hurry back to the work that awaits him. In this small break, Pierre is reminded that it is the simplest moments, the ones filled with stillness, with quiet observation, that bring the most peace. The distant rooftops of Paris, with their chimneys and dormer windows, stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time. Pierre knows that beyond these walls the world continues to turn. But here, in this quiet moment, everything feels suspended. The sounds of the city are muffled by the peace that fills his little corner of the world. He feels grounded, rooted in the present, his thoughts calm and unrushed. As the last bite of his meal is finished, Pierre sits back in his chair for a moment, allowing himself to absorb the stillness of the day. The rhythm of the world outside continues, but it doesn't press on him. He feels a quiet gratitude for this moment of rest, for the peace that comes from stepping away from work and simply being. There's a quiet wisdom in these breaks, reminders that we don't always need to rush to find meaning. Sometimes peace is found in the simplicity of a quiet meal, a gentle breeze, and the slow, steady movement of the world around us. Pierre stands up slowly, stretching once more, and then he gathers his things. It is time to return to his work, but he does so with a renewed sense of calm. The break has been short, but it has restored him. He knows that the rest of the day will unfold at its own pace, just as it should. There's no need to worry, no need to rush. The workshop awaits, and he will return to it when the time feels right, knowing that each moment is a small, meaningful part of the day. The steady rhythm of Pierre's hands as they carve and shape the wood is calming, the sound of the chisel against the grain filling the room with a gentle melody. Each stroke is deliberate, each motion a part of a quiet dance between himself and the material. The wood, once rough and unshaped, begins to take on a form, becoming something useful, something beautiful under his care. And in this simple act of creation, Pierre finds a deep, grounding peace. As he works, his mind begins to drift. The quiet of the workshop allows for reflection, and Pierre is grateful for this moment of stillness. There is no hurry, no pressing need to finish. Time moves slowly in the workshop, and Pierre is content to be in this space, focused on the task at hand. Yet, amidst the work, his thoughts wander to the larger picture, his life in Paris, the simplicity of it, and the quiet joys that come from living it at his own pace. Pierre has lived in this city for many years, and though it is vast and bustling with life, there is a small part of it that he calls his own. He finds peace in the quiet corners of Paris, in the little moments that often go unnoticed, the soft morning light that spills over the cobbled streets, the way the air feels fresh and crisp at dawn, and the rhythm of the city that moves in harmony with his own. His craft, too, has become a source of quiet joy. Working with wood brings him a sense of fulfillment that nothing else can. The act of shaping something with his hands, of taking a raw piece of timber and turning it into something functional and beautiful, brings him a quiet satisfaction. It is not a work that demands grand gestures or accolades, but a work that simply is, steady, humble and meaningful in its own right. In these moments of reflection, Pierre realizes that it is the small things that truly matter. It's not the rush of life, not the chase for bigger, better things, but the small, quiet moments of peace that fill the gaps in between. A steady rhythm of work, a simple meal, a calm walk through the streets of Paris. These are the things that bring him joy, and he feels a deep sense of gratitude for them. He runs his fingers over the wood once more, feeling the smooth surface, the grain beneath his touch. It is a reminder of the simplicity of life, the way something can grow from nothing with patience, with care. Much like the wood, his life too has been shaped by time, by the steady, patient work of each passing day. The people he has met, the experiences he has had, they have all left their marks just as his hands leave their marks on the wood. And in each of those moments, in each of those interactions, there is meaning, there is purpose. Pierre reflects on the peace he has found in this quiet life. There is a simplicity in working with wood, in allowing his hands to shape and form something that will last. It is not a task that requires great intellect or forceful will, but a task that requires patience, presence, and a willingness to embrace the slow pace of life. In the workshop, Pierre is reminded that life is not a race, but a journey made up of small steps, quiet moments, and steady progress. As the afternoon light grows softer, Pierre takes a moment to step back from his work, admiring the piece he has created so far. There is no need to rush to finish it, no deadline looming over him. The wood will take shape in its own time, just as the day will unfold at its own pace. And in this slow, peaceful rhythm, Pierre finds a sense of peace, a sense of fulfillment that comes from simply being present in the moment, from doing the work with care and intention. He breathes deeply, feeling the calm of the workshop settle into his bones. The world outside may be full of noise and distractions, but here, in this quiet space, Pierre is reminded that peace can be found in the simple, steady rhythm of life. It's in the work, the quiet routines, and the small joys that come from doing something with care. Life does not need to be complicated to be meaningful. Sometimes it is the simplest things, the act of carving, the feel of the wood, the steady pace of the day, that bring the most contentment. With that thought, Pierre picks up his chisel again, his hands steady, and returns to the work. The piece of wood waits patiently for him, just as the day waits to unfold. There is no rush, no pressure, only the quiet, steady rhythm of work, and the peace that comes from doing it with care. As the afternoon light filters softly into the workshop, Pierre shifts his focus to a new project. A handcrafted wooden chair, waiting to be shaped by his hands, rests before him on the workbench. The smell of fresh wood fills the air, and the calmness of the room settles over him like a gentle embrace. There is no rush, no urgency in the work that lies ahead. Today, like every day in the workshop, is a day to savor the process, to let time move slowly and allow the work to unfold at its own pace. Pierre runs his fingers over the smooth surface of the wood, feeling the grain beneath his touch. It's a satisfying sensation, one that connects him to the material and to the quiet rhythm of the workshop. With each piece of timber, he knows that he will leave a small part of himself in the work. The chair, though simple in design, will carry with it the care, the patience, and the quiet focus that he puts into each movement. The beauty of craftsmanship lies not in the finished product, but in the process, the slow, deliberate steps that bring it to life. As Pierre picks up his tools, the familiar weight of each one grounds him in the present moment. The mallet, the chisel, the plane, each tool feels like an extension of himself, and he begins his work with calm intent. Each strike of the chisel is measured, the sound of it carving into the wood filling the room with a gentle rhythm. There's no need to hurry. The chair will take shape in its own time. Pierre allows himself to enjoy each motion, each small movement of the tools as they shape the wood, each stroke bringing him closer to the vision he has in his mind. He pauses for a moment, stepping back to admire his progress. The chair, still in its early stages, looks simple, but already Pierre can see the potential, the lines beginning to emerge, the shape taking form. In the quiet of the workshop, surrounded by the smell of wood and the soft light of the afternoon, he reflects on the beauty of this process. It is a reminder that life, too, takes time to unfold. The most meaningful things are often those that are created slowly, with care and intention. There's wisdom in this, the understanding that not everything needs to be rushed. In taking the time to truly engage with something, whether it's a piece of wood or a moment in life, we create something far more lasting and meaningful. Pierre picks up the chisel again, focusing on the small details, the curve of the chair's backrest, the smoothness of the legs. It is in these small, quiet moments that he finds his peace. There is no noise, no distractions, just the steady rhythm of the work, the sound of the chisel, and the feel of the wood beneath his hands. The world outside continues on, but in this space, in this moment, time moves slowly, and Pierre is content. The afternoon stretches on, and with each passing moment, Pierre becomes more absorbed in the craft. The light in the workshop begins to change, casting longer shadows across the room, but Pierre remains focused, his movements slow and deliberate. There is no rush to finish, no deadline to meet. The chair will be finished when it is finished, and that is enough. In the quiet solitude of the workshop, Pierre allows himself to be fully present in the work, savouring each detail, each moment, each step of the process. As the work progresses, Pierre feels a deep sense of contentment. The chair is beginning to take shape, its lines becoming clearer with each movement. But it's not just the chair that is taking form, it's a reflection of Pierre's own life. He understands now, as he shapes the wood, that it is in the slow, deliberate moments that we find meaning. It is in the quiet acts of creation, the small tasks done with care and attention, that life becomes something beautiful. The world may demand speed, but in the stillness of the workshop, Pierre finds peace in the process. As the afternoon draws to a close, Pierre sets his tools down, stepping back to admire the chair. It is far from finished, but it has come to life in his hands. The slow, steady process has brought him to this moment of quiet satisfaction. He feels no pressure to rush. The chair will be ready when it's ready, and that is enough. The process itself has been the reward. Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the scent of the wood, and reflects on the beauty of the day. There is peace in this simplicity, the act of creating, the act of being present, the act of allowing time to move slowly. In this space, he has found something far more valuable than a completed project. He has found a sense of calm, a sense of contentment that comes from doing something with intention and care. And in this quiet, peaceful workshop, Pierre knows that just as the chair will be shaped with time, so too will his life continue to unfold slowly, steadily, beautifully. The steady rhythm of Pierre's work continues, the soft sound of the chisel against wood filling the quiet of the workshop. Time moves slowly here, each moment stretching out gently, inviting him to savour the process of creation. The world outside is distant, but in this peaceful space Pierre feels grounded, centred in the simplicity of his craft. As he carefully carves a delicate curve into the chair's backrest, the door to the workshop creaks open. The gentle sound breaks the silence, and Pierre looks up from his work. A familiar face greets him, a face he hasn't seen in years, but one that brings with it a rush of warm memories. It's Henri, an old friend from days gone by, and though their paths haven't crossed for some time, Pierre's heart lifts at the sight of him. Henri steps into the workshop, his presence filling the space without disturbing its peaceful flow. He's older now, his hair touched with grey, but his smile is as warm as ever. There's no rush in his movements as he takes in the familiar sights of the workshop. Wooden beams, tools neatly arranged, the half-finished chair on the workbench. The air is filled with the comforting scent of fresh timber, and Henri takes a deep breath, savouring the stillness of the space. "Good afternoon, Pierre," Henri says softly, his voice carrying the same calm tone that Pierre remembers from their younger days. Pierre stands up slowly, wiping his hands on his apron, and offers his old friend a warm smile. "Henri," he replies, his voice quiet but genuine, "it's good to see you." The two men exchange a simple, knowing look, and for a moment there is no need for words. The connection between them is easy, rooted in years of shared experiences, and there's no pressure to fill the silence. The world outside may be moving quickly, but here, in the quiet of the workshop, time slows down again. Henri looks around the workshop, admiring the tools and the pieces of wood that are scattered about. "It's good to see you still working here," he says, his eyes softening as he takes in the scene. "I've always admired the peace this place gives you." Pierre nods, running his hand over the workbench. "It's the simple things," he says, his voice slow and thoughtful. "In a world that always seems to hurry, I find peace in taking my time with something meaningful." Henri chuckles softly, the sound like a gentle breeze rustling through the trees. "I suppose you've always been that way, steadfast, focused, never in a rush. I've always admired that about you." Pierre smiles, but his gaze drifts to the unfinished chair, his hands stilling for a moment. "It's not about rushing," he says quietly. "It's about finding meaning in what you do, no matter how small it may seem. Life doesn't need to be a race." Henri listens, nodding thoughtfully. "You're right," he agrees, his tone gentle. "It's easy to get caught up in the rush, in the need to accomplish more. But sometimes it's the quiet moments that hold the most value, the small things we do every day. That's where the real peace lies." The two men stand in silence for a moment, allowing the quiet to fill the space between them. There's no need for deep conversation or heavy topics. The simple exchange of thoughts, the shared understanding of life's slower pace, is enough. As they continue to talk, their conversation drifts from one subject to the next, but always at a relaxed, leisurely pace. They speak of life's changes, of the years that have passed since they last saw each other, but the conversation remains calm and easy, with no need to rush. There are no grand revelations, no pressing matters to discuss. It is simply a moment to reconnect, to share memories and thoughts without the weight of the outside world. After a while, Henri stands up, stretching slightly. "Well, I won't keep you from your work," he says, offering Pierre a smile. "I just wanted to check in, to see how you were doing. It's good to see you still in your element." Pierre stands as well, his gaze shifting back to the workbench. "It's good to see you too, Henri," he replies. "Thank you for stopping by." Henri pats him gently on the shoulder. "Of course, it's always a pleasure. And remember, my friend, sometimes the quiet moments, the simple ones, are the ones that matter most." Pierre nods, a quiet smile tugging at the corners of his lips. He watches as Henri leaves, the sound of the door softly closing behind him. The workshop once again settles into its peaceful stillness. The rhythm of Pierre's work resumes, the sound of the chisel against the wood once again filling the air. But in the quiet that follows, there is a sense of warmth that lingers. The brief visit, though simple, has reminded Pierre of the value of connection, of taking the time to slow down and savour the moments, however small. Life may be full of noise and rush, but here, in this moment, Pierre is reminded that true peace lies not in the busyness of the world, but in the quiet spaces between. He returns to his work with a renewed sense of calm, knowing that sometimes it's the brief, quiet encounters, like the one with Henri, that bring the most peace. The world may be full of distractions, but here, in his workshop, Pierre has found a place where time slows down, and life's simple pleasures hold the greatest value. As the hours of daylight begin to slowly fade, Pierre feels a subtle pull, a quiet invitation to step outside and pause. The workshop, with its familiar hum of tools and wood, has already brought him a sense of contentment for the day, but now, as the sun lowers toward the horizon, he knows it is time for a brief respite. The rhythm of the day has moved steadily, and this small moment of stillness just before nightfall feels like a peaceful exhale. Pierre walks to the door of the workshop, the sound of his footsteps echoing softly on the wooden floor. He opens the door gently and steps outside, feeling the coolness of the evening air wrap around him. The city of Paris, so full of life and energy during the day, now holds a quieter, softer tone as the evening begins. The streets are less crowded, the hustle and bustle of the morning and afternoon fading into a calm quiet. The sky above him stretches in shades of deep blue and soft purple, the last traces of sunlight casting a warm glow across the rooftops. It is a peaceful sight, one that invites him to take a slow, deep breath. The cool breeze carries with it the faint scent of the earth, the trees and the distant river, mixing together in the stillness of the evening. The world feels as if it is gently settling into the night, and Pierre feels a quiet gratitude for this pause in the day. He stands there for a while, allowing the calm of the evening sky to fill him. There is no need to rush, no need to move on to the next task. In this moment, the only thing that matters is the stillness, the peaceful transition from day to night, the fading light of the sun, the coolness of the breeze, and the sound of the city settling around him, all combine to create a feeling of serenity, as if the world itself is taking a moment to rest. As Pierre gazes at the sky, he reflects on the simple beauty of the moment. He understands that it is in these quiet pauses that life often reveals its truest peace. The rush of the day, with its demands and expectations, often leaves little room for reflection. But here, in the stillness of the evening, there is time to breathe, time to reflect, time to appreciate the world around him. Pierre takes another deep breath, feeling the air fill his lungs, and he allows himself to simply be. There is no need for grand thoughts or plans. There is only the beauty of the evening sky and the comfort that comes with the slowing of time. In this moment, Pierre knows that life does not need to be hurried. It is enough to be present, to appreciate the small things, the cool breeze, the fading light, and the peace that comes from simply pausing. The city around him continues to hum softly, but for now, Pierre is content to stand outside, embracing the calm that comes with the evening. The day has been fulfilling, and as the sky darkens, he feels a deep sense of contentment. The world will continue to turn, but in this quiet moment, there is no need to rush, no need to worry. The sky above him, stretching infinitely into the night, reminds him that life too moves in its own time, and sometimes the greatest peace is found in simply slowing down and allowing the moments to pass without haste. As the stars begin to twinkle softly above, Pierre feels the warmth of the evening settle into his soul. He knows that tomorrow will bring more work, more moments of creation, but for now, he is content. The peace of the evening sky, the quiet transition from day to night, offers him all the solace he needs. And in this simple, serene pause, Pierre feels the weight of the world lift from his shoulders, leaving him with a deep sense of calm, ready to embrace the night ahead. As the evening settles in, the soft glow of the setting sun gently fades into the quiet of night. Pierre returns home from his workshop, his footsteps slow and unhurried as he crosses the threshold of his modest home. The world outside has become quieter now, the noise of the day giving way to the peaceful stillness of the evening. In the coolness of the night, Pierre feels a sense of comfort and warmth as he steps into the familiar space of his kitchen. The kitchen is simple, nothing extravagant, but it holds a certain warmth, a sense of comfort that Pierre has grown to appreciate. The scent of the evening air lingers in the room, mixing with the soft aroma of the vegetables laid out on the counter. There is no rush in this moment. The day has unfolded at its own pace, and now as Pierre prepares his simple dinner, he allows the time to slow even further. Cooking, he finds, is a peaceful ritual, a way to unwind and reconnect with the small joys of life. Pierre begins by carefully chopping the vegetables, potatoes, carrots, onions, each cut measured and deliberate. The rhythmic sound of the knife slicing through the vegetables is soothing, the act of preparing his meal almost meditative. He enjoys the repetition of the task, the quiet focus that it requires. There is no pressure to rush, no expectations to meet. The meal will be ready when it is ready, and for now, the simple act of preparing it brings him peace. As he moves through the kitchen, Pierre finds himself lost in the motions, the steady rhythm of chopping, stirring and seasoning. The small, familiar tasks fill his mind with a quiet sense of contentment. There is something deeply grounding about the act of cooking, about taking raw ingredients and transforming them into something nourishing. It's a simple process, but one that brings him a deep sense of fulfillment. Each step, though small, is meaningful in its own way. There is wisdom in this simplicity, a reminder that life too can be fulfilling when we take the time to savor the small, everyday moments. The kitchen fills with the soft scent of garlic and onions as they saute in the pan. Pierre watches them with a calm gaze, enjoying the gentle sizzle of the food as it begins to take shape. The act of cooking allows him to be present, to let go of the worries of the day. There is no room for stress in these moments, only the peace that comes from focusing on the task at hand. The world outside may be moving quickly, but here in this quiet kitchen, time slows to match the rhythm of Pierre's movements. As the meal simmers on the stove, Pierre takes a moment to step back and reflect. The simplicity of his life, the routine of the day, the act of cooking, these are the things that bring him peace. There is no need for extravagance, no need for complexity. The small moments, the quiet rituals, are enough to create a life that is full, meaningful, and satisfying. Pierre understands that now more than ever, in the quiet, unhurried rhythm of his days, he finds a sense of contentment that the noise of the world cannot provide. He stirs the pot gently, allowing the flavors to meld together. The meal is almost ready, but Pierre is in no hurry. He takes his time, letting the quiet of the evening surround him, feeling the comfort of his simple, peaceful home. The world may demand haste, but in these moments Pierre knows that it is in the slowing down, in the savouring of life's simple pleasures, that true peace is found. As the meal comes together, Pierre sets the table quietly, placing each dish with care. The kitchen, filled with the warmth of the cooking, feels like a sanctuary. In this space, he finds rest, he finds peace, and he finds a deep appreciation for the simplicity of his life. There is no rush to finish the meal, no need for grand plans or elaborate thoughts, just the quiet enjoyment of a simple dinner, made with care, enjoyed in the stillness of the evening. With the meal now prepared, Pierre sits down at the table, taking a moment to appreciate the quiet. The only sounds are the soft hum of the evening and the gentle crackle of the fire in the corner. He takes a deep breath, savouring the moment of calm before he begins to eat. There is no rush, no need for anything more than this simple act of nourishing himself, of enjoying the food he has prepared with care. In these quiet moments, as he enjoys his meal, Pierre reflects on the beauty of life's simplicity. There is wisdom in the small, everyday acts, the act of chopping vegetables, the act of cooking, the act of simply being present. In these moments, Pierre finds peace, and in that peace he finds everything he needs. The evening is gently settling in, casting a soft glow through the window as Pierre sits down at his modest wooden table. The meal before him, simple and nourishing, is the culmination of his quiet day. As he begins to eat, there is no rush, no urgency to finish. The silence of the room wraps around him like a warm blanket, offering him the space to be present, to savour the moment. The table, set with only a few humble dishes, warm bread, a small bowl of soup and a simple salad, feels like the perfect reflection of his life. It's nothing extravagant, but it's exactly what he needs. Each bite is slow, thoughtful, as he allows the flavours to linger in his mouth, appreciating the nourishment it brings. There's no need to hurry through the meal. It is a moment of peace, a moment to pause and reflect on the simplicity of his day. The sound of his utensils gently clinking against the plate is the only noise in the room. The fire crackles softly in the corner, its warm light flickering gently, adding to the calm atmosphere. Pierre breathes in the quiet, feeling a deep sense of contentment. The world outside may be busy, full of noise and expectations, but here, in the stillness of his home, Pierre finds solace. There is no pressure, no hurry. There is only the peaceful act of eating, of nourishing himself both physically and mentally. As he takes each bite, Pierre's thoughts drift, but they are not filled with worry or concern. Instead, they are reflective, calm. He thinks about his day, the work he did, the quiet moments he enjoyed, the simple satisfaction of creating something with his hands. It's a peaceful life, a life that does not demand more than it can give. And in these small, simple moments, Pierre finds the meaning he seeks. It is not in grand accomplishments or hurried pursuits, but in the small acts, the quiet routines, and the steady rhythm of life. Pierre realizes that this is what he has come to value most, the calm and the simplicity, the steady unfolding of each day, just as it is meant to be. There is wisdom in this, wisdom that tells him that peace does not come from striving, but from being present in the quiet moments, in the simple acts of living. As he finishes his meal, Pierre takes a moment to sit back in his chair, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. His stomach is content, but more than that, his heart feels light. There is no rush to move on to the next thing, no need to think about what comes next. For now, there is only the quiet of the evening, the warmth of the fire, and the peacefulness of the present moment. The day has been full, but it has been full of simple joys. There is nothing to regret, nothing to worry about. Pierre feels grateful for the peace that fills his home, for the quiet moments that shape his life. He knows that this is what life is about, the small, meaningful moments, the ones that often go unnoticed by others but are cherished deeply by those who live them. He finishes his meal slowly, savouring the last bite of bread, and with it, he savours the quiet satisfaction of a day well lived. There is no need to rush through the evening. There is no need to fill the silence with anything but the warmth of his thoughts. Pierre knows that this moment, this simple dinner, is enough. It is all he needs to feel content, to feel at peace. Afterward, he places the dishes in the sink, the clinking of the plates echoing softly in the quiet room. He doesn't hurry. There's no need to rush through any part of the evening. As he finishes cleaning, the peaceful rhythm of the day continues. He will go to bed soon, but for now he enjoys the stillness, the comfort of the evening settling in around him. As the light from the fire grows dimmer, Pierre takes one last look around his small home. It is humble, but it is his, and it holds within it everything he needs. A life full of small, meaningful moments, each one more peaceful than the last. And in this quiet, simple life, Pierre finds everything he has ever needed. With a final stretch, he prepares to end his day, content in the simplicity of it all and ready for the restful night ahead. The evening has fully settled in now, and Pierre sits comfortably by the hearth in his small home. The fire crackles softly in the corner, its flames dancing gently, casting a warm glow across the room. The flickering light illuminates the simple wooden furniture, the well-worn shelves lined with books, and the small, humble space that Pierre calls home. It is a peaceful scene, one that feels like the perfect ending to a quiet day. As the fire crackles, Pierre lets out a slow breath, his body relaxing into the chair. The warmth of the fire seeps into his skin, easing away any remaining tension from the day. There is no need to do anything now. The work is done, the meal has been eaten, and the world outside feels far away. In this moment, it is just him, the fire, and the soft rhythm of the evening. He closes his eyes for a moment, focusing on the sound of the fire, the gentle crackling, the occasional pop of a log shifting in the flames. It is a sound that feels almost like a lullaby, comforting and steady. The fire has its own language, one that speaks to the soul in a way words cannot. It is a soothing soundtrack to the evening, a reminder that the world does not always need to be loud to be full of life. Pierre allows himself to be fully present in the moment. There is no rush to fill the silence, no need to think about anything beyond the warmth of the fire and the peace of the room. The world outside may be bustling with activity, but here, in this small space, time moves slowly, gently, without urgency. It is in these quiet moments that Pierre feels the most at peace, when the world slows down, when the noise fades away, and all that remains is the simple act of being. As he listens to the fire, Pierre reflects on the beauty of simplicity. Life, he realizes, is not always about grand gestures or achievements, but about these small, tranquil moments, the ones that allow us to rest, to reflect, and to find meaning in the everyday. The fire, with its steady warmth and rhythmic sound, is a reminder that peace can be found in the simplest of things. It is not in the hustle of the day, not in the rush to accomplish, but in the quiet pauses between. These moments of stillness, of calm, are where true contentment lies. Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the warm, comforting air that fills the room. With each breath, he feels the stress of the day melt away, replaced by a profound sense of relaxation. The fire, in its steady, gentle way, brings him back to the present moment, reminding him that there is no need to worry about the future or dwell on the past. For now, everything is just as it should be. There is peace in the present, and in this moment, Pierre allows himself to simply enjoy it. The flames flicker softly, casting shadows that dance across the walls. The light from the fire reflects off the small glass of water on the table beside him, creating soft ripples of light that feel almost hypnotic. Pierre watches the dance of the flames, their warm glow illuminating the room in a quiet, intimate way. It is a reminder that even in the stillness there is life, there is movement, and there is warmth. As the evening grows darker, the fire continues to crackle and pop, its steady warmth filling the room. Pierre sits back, his eyes half closed, feeling the warmth of the fire seep deeper into his bones. The world outside may be full of noise, but here, in the quiet of his home, he finds solace in the gentle rhythm of the evening. There is no rush, no expectation. There is only the slow passage of time, the warmth of the fire, and the peace that comes with it. Pierre smiles softly, his mind quiet, his body relaxed. In the simplicity of this moment, he finds everything he needs, a sense of calm, of rest, and of contentment. The fire, with its steady crackling and soft light, provides the perfect soundtrack to the peaceful ending of another day. The world outside may continue to turn, but here, in this small, quiet space, Pierre knows that he has found a moment of true peace. And as the fire slowly dims, its glow softening with the passing hours, Pierre feels a sense of gratitude for this simple, soothing ritual. It is in these quiet, small moments, these pauses in the rhythm of life, that we find the peace we seek, and for tonight, that peace is enough. The fire crackles softly in the hearth, its warmth radiating gently across the room as Pierre settles into his favourite chair. The evening has drawn in, and the quiet of the night wraps around him like a comforting blanket. The flickering light of the flames dances across the pages of a book, casting a soft glow on the words as Pierre opens it. The day has passed slowly, and now, in the stillness of the night, he finds peace in the simple joy of reading. Pierre runs his fingers over the cover of the book, feeling the texture of the well-worn leather, the gentle creases from years of use. It's a book he's read many times before, its pages soft with age, but it still brings him a quiet pleasure each time he returns to it. There is something comforting about revisiting a familiar story, a story that doesn't require effort to understand, but instead offers a gentle escape, a space where time slows down and the mind can rest. As he reads, the soft glow of the fire flickers in the corner of his eye, but Pierre doesn't rush. He lets the warmth of the room seep into him, feeling the tension of the day fade with each page he turns. The rhythm of the story is steady, like the steady crackling of the fire, a reminder that life doesn't need to be hurried. Pierre allows himself to become lost in the words, letting the quiet of the evening and the warmth of the fire surround him. The room is quiet, save for the occasional shift of the logs in the fire and the soft rustling of the pages. Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the soothing scent of the burning wood, and he reflects on how rare these moments are. In a world that often pulls us in many directions, it is these quiet pauses, these simple moments of reading, of reflection, that bring true rest. There is wisdom in slowing down, in taking time to immerse yourself in something simple, something that allows the mind to wander freely without worry or haste. The story he is reading is not complicated or demanding. It is a gentle tale, one that unfolds at its own pace, much like the evening around him. Pierre is reminded that sometimes the best way to find peace is not in seeking new adventures, but in enjoying the ones that already exist, the small, familiar moments that fill the gaps in our days. In reading, Pierre finds a way to step away from the noise of the world, to rest in the simplicity of the moment. The words on the page carry him away, not to far-off lands, but to a place where time moves at a slower pace, a place where he can be fully present in the here and now. Each page brings new words, but Pierre's thoughts drift gently, like the flickering flames in the fire. There is no pressure to finish the book, no need to rush to the end. The story will take as long as it needs to, just as the evening will unfold at its own pace. Pierre feels no need to hurry, no need to push through anything. There is only the quiet joy of reading, the quiet joy of being. As the evening draws on, the room becomes darker, but the fire continues to burn steadily, its light warm and inviting. Pierre's eyes grow heavy, the soft light from the fire and the gentle rhythm of the story lulling him into a state of calm. He knows that sleep will come soon, but for now, he is content to let the book guide him through the quiet moments of the night. Reading, Pierre reflects, is one of the simplest joys of life. It doesn't require much. Just a book, a quiet space, and the willingness to slow down. It is a reminder that sometimes the best way to recharge is to step away from the busyness of the world and find rest in the small, quiet moments that allow us to reconnect with ourselves. As Pierre turns the final page of the book, he feels a quiet sense of fulfillment. There is no need for grand conclusions or urgent thoughts. The evening has unfolded at its own pace, and now, as he closes the book and places it gently on the table, he feels ready to end his day. The quiet joy of reading has filled him with peace, and in that peace he knows that he has found something valuable. He takes one last deep breath, allowing the quiet to fill the room, and with the warmth of the fire still lingering in his chest, Pierre leans back in his chair, content in the simplicity of it all. The world outside may be full of noise and haste, but here, in this quiet room, Pierre knows that he has everything he needs: a peaceful mind, a full heart, and the comfort of knowing that life's truest joys are often the simplest. As the last traces of daylight slip away, the world outside Pierre's window grows quieter. The sun has dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a soft blanket of twilight. The evening air is cool, carrying with it the gentle rustle of leaves from the trees outside. Pierre stands by the window for a moment, watching the night settle over Paris. The streets, now empty of people, feel calm and still, as if the city itself is pausing to breathe before the night truly begins. Pierre takes a slow, deep breath, feeling the tranquility of the evening wash over him. The noise of the day is distant now, and the only sound is the soft whisper of the wind outside, carrying with it a peaceful rhythm. He feels a quiet contentment as he prepares for bed. There is no rush, no hurry. The day has been long, but it has unfolded in its own time, and now, as night falls, Pierre embraces the stillness that comes with the end of the day. He steps away from the window and begins to prepare his small bedroom for the night. The room is simple, but it is his haven, a space where the worries of the world feel far away. The bed is neatly made, and the soft light of a small candle flickers beside him. As Pierre moves about the room, there is a calmness in his movements, as if he too is in no rush. The simple act of preparing for sleep, pulling back the covers, setting the candle on the bedside table, feels like a gentle ritual, a quiet pause before the world of dreams. As Pierre slides into bed, he takes a moment to lie still, his body sinking into the softness of the mattress. The coolness of the sheets against his skin is soothing, and he allows himself to relax into the comfort of his simple home. There is no need to think about the day ahead, no need to worry about anything. The world is at rest, and so is he. Outside, the wind continues to rustle the leaves, the sound gentle and rhythmic, like a lullaby that lulls the world to sleep. Pierre closes his eyes for a moment, listening to the wind, and he reflects on how peaceful these moments are. The quiet of the night, the soft whisper of the breeze, the stillness that surrounds him. In these quiet moments, there is nothing to chase, nothing to do, but simply be. The day has come to a close, and Pierre knows that in this stillness, he has found a rare kind of peace. Life, he thinks, does not always have to be full of noise and rush. Sometimes the greatest peace is found in the quiet, in the stillness, in the gentle rhythm of the night. The world will continue to move, the city will continue to wake. But for now, Pierre is content in the peace of his own home, in the comfort of knowing that he can let go of the day and simply rest. As the wind outside grows softer and the room becomes darker, Pierre settles further into his bed, feeling the warmth of the blankets envelop him. His thoughts are calm and his body is at ease. There is no stress, no worry, only the quiet comfort of the present moment. It is enough to know that he has created a life that moves at its own pace, a life where he can find peace in the simple acts of living. Pierre takes another deep breath, allowing the stillness of the night to fill him completely. He knows that tomorrow will bring its own challenges, but for now, he is content to rest. The world outside may be moving, but here, in his small home, there is only the peace of the night, the sound of the wind, and the comfort of knowing that, in this moment, everything is exactly as it should be. With that thought, Pierre closes his eyes and lets sleep come softly, knowing that tomorrow will come in its own time, just as today has. There is no need to worry, no need to rush. For now, there is only rest, only peace, and only the quiet of the night. The soft glow of dawn begins to creep through the edges of the window, gently coaxing Pierre from his slumber. The room, still cool from the night, is wrapped in the quiet stillness of the early morning hours. As the first rays of morning light filter in, they paint a warm, golden hue on the wooden beams above him. It's a subtle reminder that the world outside is waking, but for now, Pierre allows himself to enjoy these peaceful moments before the day fully unfolds. He takes a slow, deep breath, feeling the weight of sleep lift from him like a soft blanket being gently removed. There's no rush to start the day, no obligations pressing on him just yet. The quiet of the morning allows him to simply be, to savor the stillness before the rhythm of life resumes. Pierre stretches gently, his muscles awakening as he takes in the calm beauty of the early hours. The sound of the wind outside, soft and steady, carries with it a sense of peace, as if nature itself is still breathing in the quiet of the morning. As he sits up, he feels the coolness of the floor beneath his feet, grounding him in the present. There is a quiet comfort in this simple routine, waking with the light, taking a moment to be still before stepping into the day. The world may be bustling outside, but in his small room there is only this tranquil pause, a space to center himself and let the day begin in its own time. Pierre moves slowly, not hurried, as he goes about his morning. He opens the window, letting in the cool morning air. The smell of fresh earth and the promise of a new day fills the room. The light from the rising sun pours in, casting soft, elongated shadows on the floor, stretching as if to remind him that time moves at its own pace. The world is unfolding, but in his small home, Pierre has the luxury to watch it slowly, gently, without the need to rush. He steps over to the wash basin, the cool water refreshing against his skin as he splashes his face, waking fully from his rest. The morning routine feels like a gentle affirmation. Each action, though small, is a reminder that the day has begun, and with it comes another opportunity to appreciate the simplicity of life. There's no need to worry about what lies ahead. In this moment, everything feels just as it should be. Pierre moves to prepare his morning tea, the soft sound of the kettle filling the room as he places it over the flame. The warmth of the steam rises into the cool morning air, the gentle hiss of the water heating, creating a quiet rhythm. The act of making tea is simple, but to Pierre, it is a cherished part of his routine. Each slow, deliberate motion is a reminder that life does not need to be rushed. It is in the small, meaningful actions that he finds peace. As the tea steeps, Pierre walks over to the window again, looking out at the quiet streets of Paris. The early morning light reflects off the cobblestone roads, still damp from the dew, and the air feels crisp and fresh. Few people are out yet. It is the calm before the day begins. Pierre watches a lone bird flutter by, its wings soft against the golden sky. The moment is fleeting, but it carries a quiet beauty, and Pierre feels a deep sense of gratitude for these simple things. The morning light, the soft breeze, the peacefulness of the city before it fully awakens. He returns to his table, the tea now ready. As he sips it slowly, the warmth spreads through him, easing him into the day. There is no rush to finish, no need to hurry through this simple moment. Pierre allows the warmth of the tea to fill him, feeling the calmness of the morning sink deeper into his being. The world outside may be waking up with purpose and energy, but here, in his quiet home, Pierre knows that he can move at his own pace, allowing each moment to unfold gently. In these moments, Pierre reflects on the beauty of routine. There is peace to be found in the repetition, in the simple acts of daily life. Life does not always need to be filled with excitement or adventure. Sometimes the most meaningful moments are the quiet ones, the ones that unfold slowly, without hurry, without expectation. In these moments, Pierre knows that he is exactly where he is meant to be. As the morning continues to brighten, Pierre feels a sense of calm settle over him. He is ready for the day ahead, but he is not hurried. Time moves slowly, and that is enough. For now, he is content in the simplicity of the moment, the soft glow of the morning light, and the quiet rhythm of life that continues around him. Life is full of noise and rush, but Pierre finds peace in these small, quiet pauses, the ones that remind him to slow down, to breathe, and to appreciate the beauty in each small moment. The morning is still fresh as Pierre steps outside, the coolness of the air surrounding him like a soft embrace. He begins his walk to work, but today, like most days, he decides to take a small detour through the market. It's not yet fully awake, the early morning calm still lingering in the quiet spaces between the stalls. The vendors are just beginning to set up their goods, and the first few customers, like Pierre, move slowly through the rows, savouring the tranquility before the rush of the day takes over. As Pierre walks through the market, he notices the familiar faces of the vendors, each one preparing their offerings with careful attention. The scent of fresh produce, ripe tomatoes, crisp lettuce, and fragrant herbs fills the air. The colours of the fruits and vegetables are bright and inviting, their natural hues a perfect contrast to the cool greyness of the morning sky. There is a peaceful rhythm to the market at this hour, a soft hum of activity, but no hurry, no urgency. Pierre stops at a stall, greeted by a friendly nod from the vendor, an older woman with a kind smile. She offers him a basket of fresh apples, their skins gleaming in the soft morning light. The exchange is quiet, without the usual rush of buying and selling, just a simple transaction carried out with care. Pierre picks out the apples he wants, taking his time to select them carefully, enjoying the act of choosing, of being present in this small moment. As the vendor wraps the apples in a piece of cloth, Pierre reflects on the simplicity of this exchange. There's no need for grand words or complicated transactions. It's just a quiet, mutual understanding, a shared appreciation for the small things in life. In the stillness of the early morning, Pierre finds a quiet sense of contentment. He doesn't need anything more than this moment, this connection, this simple exchange of goods and kindness. After paying for the apples, Pierre takes a few steps further into the market, taking in the calmness around him. The stalls are filled with fresh bread, bright flowers and fragrant spices. The air is filled with the sounds of vendors greeting customers, the soft rustle of paper as goods are exchanged, and the occasional chirp of a bird from a nearby tree. The market is not yet busy, but there is a quiet energy in the air, a promise of the day to come, but for now, everything is still. Everything is at rest. Pierre takes a deep breath, savouring the fresh air, the quiet of the market, and the simple pleasure of being here. Life often feels like it moves too quickly, but here in the market, time seems to slow down, allowing him to enjoy the small moments that make up his day. There is no rush, no pressure. The world outside may be full of noise and hurry, but here, in this space, there is only peace, only the simple joy of being present. As Pierre finishes his stroll through the market, he feels a sense of calm that will stay with him throughout the day. There is something about the quiet of the early morning transactions, the simple acts of buying and sharing, that reminds him of the beauty in the small things. It's a reminder that life doesn't have to be full of chaos or noise to be meaningful. Sometimes it's the quiet, gentle moments, the ones that move at their own pace, that hold the most significance. Pierre smiles softly as he walks away from the market, his apples in hand. The world outside will wake up soon, and the pace of the day will pick up. But for now, he carries with him the peace of the market, the calmness of the early morning, and the quiet joy that comes from appreciating the simple things in life. The morning has passed gently, and now, as the light shifts, Pierre steps back into his workshop. The air feels calm, the soft hum of the outside world barely noticeable here in this quiet space. He takes a moment to glance around at the tools on the shelves, the half-finished pieces of wood resting quietly on the workbench. Each item has a purpose, each tool a role to play in the creation of something meaningful. Pierre stands still for a moment, breathing in the peace of the room before his gaze lands on the new project before him. A fresh piece of wood, waiting to be shaped into something useful, something beautiful. There is a stillness in the air as Pierre begins to prepare for the work ahead. He runs his hand over the surface of the wood, feeling its smooth texture, the grain beneath his fingers. It's a moment of connection between himself and the material, a quiet moment before the work begins. This is where the process starts, not with the rush to finish, but with the appreciation of what lies ahead. He knows that this project, like all the others, will take time. It will require patience, care, and a steady hand. But that's exactly how he likes it. There is no need for haste in this work, only the quiet rhythm of creation, the steady unfolding of each step. Pierre selects his tools carefully, placing them within easy reach. The mallet, the chisel, the plane, each one is familiar to him. Each one has its place in this slow, deliberate process. He begins by measuring the wood, ensuring each piece is cut to the right size. The sound of the measuring tape unfurling, the soft scrape of the pencil as he marks the lines. Each small sound is a reminder that time moves slowly here. There is no rush, no urgency. The world outside may be moving at its usual pace, but inside the workshop, Pierre knows that each task, no matter how small, has its place and its time. As he begins to cut the wood, the rhythmic sound of the saw fills the space. It is not loud or jarring, but soft and steady, like the heartbeat of the workshop. Pierre focuses on the motion, the flow of the saw moving back and forth, each stroke bringing the piece of wood closer to its final shape. There is a sense of satisfaction in the process, not in the end result, but in the act of creating, of being present with the work. Each small step, each careful movement is meaningful in its own right. Pierre takes his time with each cut, savouring the stillness of the moment. He reflects on how life often feels like a race, always rushing, always moving toward the next thing. But here, in this quiet space, there is no race. There's only the work in front of him, the steady progress that comes from doing something with care and attention. The world may demand speed, but Pierre has learned that true fulfillment comes not from rushing to finish, but from being present in the process, from enjoying each small step along the way. As the project begins to take shape, Pierre feels a quiet sense of purpose. The design is simple, but it's something that will be used, something that will serve a purpose in someone's life. And that, he thinks, is the beauty of it. The work doesn't have to be grand, doesn't have to be celebrated. It's the quiet act of creation, the slow building of something meaningful that brings true satisfaction. The afternoon passes slowly as Pierre works, his movements steady and unhurried. Each cut, each plane of the wood, each detail of the design is done with care, with patience. The chair or table or custom cabinet, it doesn't matter what the project is, because what matters is the process. The simple act of creating something with his hands, of shaping the world around him slowly, gently, fills him with a deep sense of peace. As the light begins to fade, Pierre steps back to admire his progress. The piece is still far from finished, but it is taking shape. It is a reminder that good things take time, that there is beauty in the slow, steady work, in the quiet patience that comes with each small step. And in that, Pierre finds his peace. There is no rush, no need to worry about what comes next. In this moment, the work is enough. Pierre puts his tools away, the soft clink of metal against wood marking the end of another peaceful day. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the calming scent of the workshop, the satisfaction of the day's work settling into his body. There is no need for more today. Tomorrow will bring more progress, more small steps toward completion. But for now, Pierre is content in the knowledge that, in the simplicity of his work, he has found something meaningful. The soft light of the afternoon continues to bathe the workshop, casting long, gentle shadows on the wooden floor. Inside, the stillness of the room envelops Pierre as he continues his work. There is no rush in the air, no pressure to meet a deadline. Time seems to stretch, moving as slowly as the steady rhythm of his hands. Each movement, each stroke of the tool, feels like a part of a peaceful dance, a dance between Pierre and the materials he shapes, a dance that moves in perfect harmony with the quiet of the room. Pierre picks up his chisel once again, its familiar weight grounding him in the moment. With deliberate care, he continues carving, his movements fluid and unhurried. The soft scrape of the chisel against the wood is like a gentle whisper in the stillness, a soothing sound that fills the air and calms his thoughts. Each stroke brings the project closer to completion, but Pierre does not focus on the end result. For now, he is content in the act of creation itself, present in the moment, lost in the quiet flow of the work. There is something deeply calming about this rhythm. The repetitive motion of shaping the wood, the focus on the task at hand, allows Pierre's mind to settle. He has no need for distractions or worries. There is no space for rushing here, no need for his mind to race ahead to the next task. Everything he needs is right here, in the present, in this peaceful moment. And in the slow, methodical rhythm of craftsmanship, he finds a deep sense of peace. Pierre pauses for a moment, stepping back to assess his progress. The piece before him is beginning to take shape, but the beauty lies not in its final form, but in the steady, quiet effort that has gone into it. He smiles softly to himself, knowing that it is not the result that matters most, but the process, the simple act of working with his hands, of being present with the material, of allowing the work to unfold naturally, without haste. He picks up the plane and begins to smooth the edges of the wood, the gentle sound of the blade gliding over the surface, adding to the peaceful rhythm. The wood is soft under his hands, yielding to his steady touch. The world outside may be full of noise and rush, but here, in the quiet of the workshop, Pierre feels a sense of calm that he knows he can't find elsewhere. He breathes deeply, letting the stillness fill him, letting the peace of the work wash over him. As the afternoon light continues to fade, Pierre's movements remain slow and deliberate. The tools lie within easy reach, each one an extension of his intentions, his focus. There is no need to hurry, no need to push through the work. Pierre understands that it is the steady rhythm, the quiet dedication to the craft, that brings fulfillment. The work is enough. The simplicity of it is enough. Pierre reflects for a moment on the wisdom of craftsmanship. He knows that life, like the pieces he creates, requires patience. It is in the slow, deliberate steps that we find meaning, not in rushing to the finish, but in taking the time to savor the journey. Every stroke, every turn of the tool, every small decision made with care, these are the moments that shape something truly valuable. And in these moments, Pierre finds not only satisfaction in his work, but peace in the rhythm of life itself. As the final light of the day casts a golden glow over the workshop, Pierre finishes another part of the project, stepping back to admire the work. It is far from complete, but it has come together in its own time, slowly and steadily. There is no rush to finish. There is only the joy of the work, the peace that comes from doing something with intention, with care. With a quiet sigh of contentment, Pierre sets down his tools and takes a step back. The room is filled with a sense of completion, not because the project is done, but because the process has been fulfilling in its own right. There is no pressure, no worry, only the steady rhythm of craftsmanship, the calm unfolding of each moment, and in this, Pierre finds his peace. The steady rhythm of the work continues inside the workshop, but Pierre decides for a moment to step outside. The warm afternoon sun welcomes him as he crosses the threshold of his home, the quiet outside offering a gentle contrast to the focused work inside. With each step, Pierre feels the weight of the day shift off his shoulders. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the fresh air, the world around him slowing to match the calm in his heart. Outside, the air is crisp and the breeze is light. The trees, with their leaves fluttering gently, seem to move in harmony with the pace of the day. Pierre walks slowly, as if the ground beneath his feet is inviting him to take his time, to appreciate the stillness that the moment offers. He finds a quiet spot under the shade of a tree, its branches stretching out above him, casting dappled shadows across the ground. Sitting down on the soft grass, Pierre lets his mind wander, reflecting on the simplicity of his life. There's no noise here, no rush, just the quiet of nature and the steady hum of the world moving at its own pace. Pierre feels at peace with this pace, with the slow unfolding of his days. He thinks about his work, how each task, each small project is done with care and attention. In the workshop, time moves differently. It's as though the pressure of the outside world doesn't quite reach him there. The act of creating with his hands, shaping wood into something useful and beautiful, brings a deep sense of fulfillment. As he sits there, Pierre reflects on how fulfilling it is to do something with intention. The simple act of carving, of sanding, of patiently building something from scratch brings him a joy that words cannot capture. It is a quiet joy, born not of grand accomplishments, but of the steady, consistent effort that fills each day. He realizes that life is much the same. Much of it is about the small, simple moments, those that often go unnoticed, but which add up to create something deeply meaningful. Pierre smiles softly to himself, appreciating the simple pleasures that fill his life. Quiet mornings, slow walks, the steady pace of his work. These moments may seem ordinary, but they are what give his life its depth, its beauty. There is wisdom in this, he thinks, the understanding that happiness does not come from chasing after more, but from finding peace in what is already here. The beauty of life lies in its simplicity, in the small, quiet things that, when gathered together, create a life well lived. As the breeze continues to rustle the leaves above him, Pierre reflects on how easy it is to become caught up in the rush of the world. The noise, the demands, the endless pursuit of things. It can all feel overwhelming at times. But here, in this quiet moment, Pierre is reminded that peace is always within reach. It doesn't require external circumstances to change. It only requires us to pause, to breathe, and to appreciate the present moment. In this moment of reflection, Pierre feels his heart lightened, as if the worries of the world have been gently swept away. He takes another deep breath, letting the calmness of the day fill him. There is no rush, no need to do anything more than simply sit here, letting time pass at its own pace. The world will continue to turn, the work will continue to unfold. But for now, Pierre knows that it is enough to simply be present. The peace he seeks is not somewhere far off, but right here, in the quiet spaces between tasks, in the moments of stillness that dot his day. Pierre rises slowly from the grass, feeling a sense of calm that lingers in his bones. He knows that as the day continues, the work in the shop will call to him, and he will return to it with renewed focus. But for now, he carries with him the quiet reflection of this moment, a reminder that the beauty of life is not always in what we do, but in how we do it, and in the moments when we take the time to simply be. The afternoon light is soft, and the gentle hum of the day continues, unaffected by any rush or urgency. Pierre has just returned to his small home after a peaceful walk through the quiet streets of Paris. As he enters, he feels a sense of calm settle over him, the familiar warmth of his home greeting him like an old friend. The quiet of the space invites him to take a deep breath, to slow down, and to let go of any remaining thoughts from the day. He moves to the window, watching the sunlight filter through the leaves of the trees outside. The world outside may be busy, but here, in the stillness of his home, time seems to slow, offering a gentle pause. The peaceful rhythm of the day continues, and as Pierre takes his seat by the window, the door to his house creaks open gently. It's a sound that is familiar, a sound that signals the approach of a friendly face. It is his neighbour, an older gentleman named Luc, who lives just a few doors down. Luc has a warm smile and an easygoing demeanour, and his visits are always a welcome break from the solitude that Pierre often enjoys. Today, as he steps inside, Luc greets him with a soft chuckle, as if bringing with him a little piece of the light-heartedness of the outside world. "Good afternoon, Pierre," Luc says, his voice low and friendly, his footsteps light on the wooden floor. "I thought I'd stop by for a bit. It's a quiet day, and I wanted to see how you were doing." Pierre looks up from the window, smiling in return. "It's good to see you, Luc," he replies, his tone warm and inviting. Come in. It's been a peaceful day, just like the rest." Luc settles into a chair by the hearth, taking a moment to relax. The room is cosy, filled with the warmth of the fire and the soft scent of the wood that Pierre has been working with. The two of them sit in comfortable silence for a moment, savouring the stillness before Luc speaks again. "Well, the day has been quite uneventful," Luc begins, his voice soft, almost as if he is savouring each word. "I took a walk through the market, not much going on. Some of the vendors were setting up, and the early morning crowd had already gone. I'm sure you've been to the market already?" Pierre nods slowly, his gaze softening as he reflects on his own walk through the market earlier that morning. "Yes, just a quiet stroll. I like going there early before it gets too crowded. It's peaceful, just like the rest of the day." Luc chuckles softly. "Yes, I agree. It's always nice to find a little peace in the quiet moments. Sometimes it's the stillness, the little things that make the day worthwhile." Pierre smiles at his neighbour's words, nodding in agreement. It's true. Life doesn't need to be full of noise and excitement to be meaningful. Sometimes it's the small, simple moments, the quiet walks, the gentle conversations, that are the most fulfilling. The two of them sit in companionable silence for a while, the fire crackling gently in the corner, casting warm light on the room. The conversation flows easily between them, touching on the small happenings of their day, their reflections on life, and the peacefulness they both find in the simple moments of living. There is no rush to get anywhere, no urgency to finish the conversation. It is just a moment of connection, a quiet exchange of thoughts and feelings, and it feels comforting, like a soft rhythm that settles in their hearts. Luc's voice is warm as he speaks again. "You're right, Pierre. It's the small things that bring peace, and sometimes we need to remind ourselves to slow down and enjoy them. Life doesn't need to be complicated to be meaningful." Pierre smiles, feeling a sense of contentment wash over him. The words of his neighbour resonate deeply within him, reminding him once again that peace is found not in what we chase, but in what we embrace. The quiet moments, the small exchanges, the gentle pace of life, these are the things that bring true fulfillment. As the conversation continues, the evening light slowly fades, and the room grows quieter, the fire burning down to soft embers. Luc rises from his seat, stretching gently. "I should be heading home now, Pierre," he says, his tone still warm, "but it's always good to share a quiet moment with you." Pierre stands, walking his neighbour to the door. "It's always a pleasure, Luc. Thank you for stopping by." Luc smiles and nods. "Of course. We should do this more often. It's the simple moments that matter most. As the door closes softly behind Luke, Pierre stands still for a moment, allowing the quiet of the evening to settle in around him once again. The day has been full of peaceful moments, small conversations and quiet reflections, and in those moments, Pierre has found a deep sense of contentment. There is no rush, no need to hurry. Life, with its simple rhythms and gentle exchanges, is enough. With a soft sigh of satisfaction, Pierre returns to his chair, settling into the stillness of the evening. The fire burns low, casting long shadows across the room, and Pierre closes his eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of the fire and the peace of the day fill him. As the afternoon gently unfolds, the soft light of the sun begins to shift, casting a warm, golden glow over the city of Paris. Pierre stands by the window, his gaze drifting over the familiar streets that now seem to slow down with the passing hours. The world outside continues its steady rhythm, but for Pierre, time seems to move more slowly in these quiet moments, allowing him to fully appreciate the beauty of the day. The light has a way of softening everything, painting the buildings in hues of amber and gold, stretching long shadows across the cobblestones. Pierre feels a sense of calm settle over him as he watches the light change, the world bathed in this warm, peaceful glow. There is no rush, no need to hurry. The day has unfolded at its own pace, and now, in the stillness of the afternoon, Pierre allows himself to simply be present in the moment. He takes a seat by the window, his favourite chair, and leans back, letting the quiet envelop him. The window is slightly open, and a soft breeze flows through, carrying with it the scent of fresh flowers and the earthiness of the city. The sounds of distant footsteps, the occasional clink of a carriage wheel, and the gentle rustling of leaves from the trees below fill the air, but it is all soft and distant, like a lullaby. For a moment, Pierre closes his eyes, allowing the peacefulness of the afternoon to wash over him. The gentle breeze, the soft light, the slow pace of life, all of it serves as a reminder that there is no need to chase anything. The world will continue to turn, but in this moment, Pierre is content to simply sit in the stillness and take it all in. Life, he reflects, does not need to be full of noise and haste to be fulfilling. It is in the quiet moments, the ones that seem small but hold great meaning, that true peace is found. There is wisdom in this. Wisdom that tells us to slow down, to appreciate the present. In our busy lives, we often forget that it's the little things, the quiet moments, the peaceful spaces, that bring the most contentment. Pierre has learned this over the years, and now, as the afternoon sun casts its golden light over the city, he feels a deep sense of gratitude for the stillness around him. There is no need for more, no need for anything other than what is right here, right now. As the light shifts once more, Pierre watches as the shadows on the streets lengthen and the golden glow begins to fade. But even as the light wanes, the peace remains. The world outside may be changing, but inside, Pierre knows that the calmness he feels in this moment will stay with him long after the sun sets. He takes a slow, deep breath, inhaling the calm air, letting it fill his lungs, and then slowly releasing it. There is no stress, no worry. Everything is as it should be. In the serenity of the afternoon, Pierre is reminded that life is not about what we accomplish or how much we do, but about how we embrace the simple moments, the ones that allow us to reconnect with ourselves, to find peace in the quiet. Pierre rises from his chair, feeling the weight of the day lift from him as he moves with the same slow, unhurried pace. The sun may be beginning to set, but the peace of the afternoon lingers, wrapping him in a sense of contentment that he carries with him into the rest of the day. The serenity of this quiet moment will stay with him, a reminder that the best parts of life often come when we take the time to slow down and simply be. As the evening light begins to soften, casting a gentle glow through the windows of the workshop, Pierre feels the quiet of the day settle around him. The rhythm of his work has slowed, the last task of the day nearly complete. He steps back from the workbench, taking a moment to appreciate the stillness that has enveloped the space. The tools are neatly laid out, The wood smells fresh, and the quiet hum of the workshop is like a lullaby, signalling the peaceful end of another fulfilling day. Pierre moves slowly as he begins to tidy up his workspace. There is no hurry, no rush. His movements are deliberate and gentle, the same care he takes in his work now extended to the act of closing for the day. He picks up his tools one by one, carefully wiping the blades of his chisels and placing them back in their proper spots. The familiar sounds of metal against wood, the soft clink of tools being put away, fill the room with a calming rhythm. Each action, though simple, feels meaningful. Another quiet moment in the rhythm of his daily life. As he works, Pierre reflects on the day, the hours spent shaping wood, the small details of the project, the peaceful moments when his thoughts were focused solely on the task at hand. There is a quiet satisfaction in knowing that the work is done, not in the grandness of the outcome, but in the act of doing it with care and attention. This, Pierre realizes, is the true beauty of his work. Not the finished piece, but the process, the slow unfolding of each step, each motion, and the peace it brings him. With each tool he puts away, a sense of calm washes over him. The day is winding down, and the peaceful stillness of the workshop feels like a warm embrace. There is no need for further activity, no need to rush. The work has been done, and now it is time to rest. Pierre pauses for a moment, standing in the middle of the quiet space, letting the peace of the room fill him. In the stillness, he feels a deep sense of contentment, knowing that he has spent his day well. The world outside may be filled with noise and haste, but here, in this humble workshop, time moves slowly, gently, and there is a sense of completion. Pierre takes one last look around the room. The tools are neatly arranged, the workbench is tidy, and the soft glow of the setting sun bathes the space in warmth. There is no need to hurry through these final moments. The day has unfolded as it should, and now the peaceful quiet of the evening invites him to step away, to leave the workshop behind for the night. He picks up his coat, putting it on slowly, savouring the moment of transition from work to rest. As he steps toward the door, Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the familiar scent of the wood, the tools, and the quiet peace that fills the workshop. The world outside may be waiting, but here, in this stillness, Pierre finds a deep sense of peace. There is no need for more today. There is only the calm satisfaction of knowing that the work has been done, and tomorrow will bring another day, another opportunity to create, to slow down, and to savour the simple pleasures of life. With one final glance at the workshop, Pierre closes the door behind him. The sound of the latch clicking shut signals the end of the day, and as he steps into the cool evening air, he carries with him the calm of the workshop, the peace of the day's work, and the quiet joy that comes from living a life in tune with the slow, steady rhythm of the world. The day has drawn to a close, and as Pierre steps outside his workshop, the cool evening air greets him like an old friend. The streets of Paris, which were once filled with the bustling energy of the day, are now quieter, slower. The usual sounds of clattering carts and hurried footsteps have softened, and in their place there is only the gentle rustling of the leaves and the soft echo of distant voices. The city, now transitioning into night, feels more peaceful, as though the world itself is slowing down to take a breath. Pierre begins his walk home at his own pace, his steps unhurried, each one grounded and deliberate. He doesn't rush to reach his destination. There is no need. The evening offers him a moment to unwind, a moment to let go of the day's tasks and simply be present in the quiet of the night. As he walks, he takes in the coolness of the air, the scent of damp earth from the streets, and the faint smell of fresh bread from a bakery nearby. The simple, familiar smells are comforting, grounding him in the present moment. As Pierre moves through the streets, he notices the subtle changes that the evening brings. The way the street lamps begin to cast their soft glow, the shadows stretching across the cobblestones, the sound of a horse's hooves echoing softly in the distance. The city is alive, but in a quieter, more contemplative way. It's as though Paris, for all its grandeur and noise, is also capable of moments of peace, moments where time moves slowly and the world feels at rest. Pierre's thoughts wander gently as he walks, but they are not filled with worries or concerns. Instead, he reflects on the simplicity of the evening, the quiet, the calm, the beauty of the moment. In these slow walks home, he finds a sense of clarity, a chance to reset and recharge. There is no rush to get anywhere, no destination to reach. There is only the quiet of the evening, the cool air, and the steady rhythm of his footsteps. He notices the way the buildings seem to soften in the fading light, their outlines less defined, more gentle. The windows, now dimly lit from within, offer glimpses of the peaceful lives unfolding inside. The streets, once busy with the day's activity, are now tranquil, and Pierre savours the calmness that comes with the transition from day to night. This time of day, this slow walk through the quiet streets, is a reminder that peace can be found in the simplest of moments, when we allow ourselves the time to slow down, to breathe, and to be present. The soft evening breeze continues to stir the leaves in the trees, and the sky, which was once a bright blue, is now turning to shades of deep purple and navy. The stars begin to twinkle faintly, adding to the stillness of the night. Pierre takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool air, and feels the weight of the day slowly lift from his shoulders. There is something about the evening that feels like a gentle release, a chance to let go of the noise of the day and embrace the quiet that follows. As he continues his walk, Pierre reflects on the beauty of the simple life he leads. It is a life that moves at its own pace, one that is filled with small, meaningful moments, like this peaceful walk home when the world slows down, and the only thing that matters is the rhythm of your own footsteps. He understands now, more than ever, that happiness does not come from chasing after grand achievements or constantly seeking more. It comes from appreciating the quiet, simple moments, the ones that allow us to be present, to breathe, and to connect with the world around us. Pierre reaches the door of his small home, and with a soft sigh, he steps inside. The warmth of the fire greets him, the simple comfort of his familiar surroundings offering him the peace he seeks. The world outside may be full of noise, but here, in this quiet space, he knows that he has everything he needs. The walk home, the stillness of the evening, the quiet rhythm of the day's end, it is enough. And in this quiet, simple life, Pierre finds all the peace he needs. As the door softly closes behind him, Pierre feels a deep sense of relief wash over him. The world outside is now quiet, and the evening has settled in, bringing with it a calm that feels like a natural pause in the day. The light of the setting sun lingers just a little longer, casting a soft golden hue across the room. Pierre takes a slow breath, the familiar scent of his home, the warmth of the space, offering him a moment of peace after the gentle rhythm of his day. He moves through the small entryway, his steps unhurried, as though he is savouring each moment of this tranquil transition from work to rest. The evening has always held a certain comfort for Pierre, this time when the day's work has been completed, and there is nothing left to do but enjoy the quiet simplicity of home. It is in these small, soothing routines that he finds the most meaning. Pierre walks into the kitchen, where the quiet hum of the house surrounds him. The light from the window has faded now, and the room is softly lit by the warm glow of a lamp on the counter. The kitchen is modest, yet it holds a warmth that makes it feel like a sanctuary. The world outside may be busy, but here, Pierre is in control of his time. There is no rush, no need to hurry. It is just him, his thoughts, and the comfort of preparing his evening meal. The routine is familiar, comforting. Pierre takes his time as he prepares a simple, light dinner, perhaps some fresh vegetables, a slice of bread, and a small bowl of soup. Each movement is slow, deliberate, as though the act of cooking itself is a quiet meditation, a moment of calm that lets him unwind. There is something satisfying in this simplicity, something deeply grounding in the act of creating something for himself with care. As he stirs the soup, the aroma fills the room, and Pierre can't help but smile softly. It's not the complexity of the meal that brings him comfort, but the quietness of the moment, the solitude of preparing food just for himself. The world outside may be filled with noise and expectation, but in this kitchen, in this moment, there is nothing but peace. Once the meal is ready, Pierre sets the table quietly. He doesn't rush through it. There's no hurry to eat. Instead, he takes a moment to sit, to appreciate the meal he has prepared. The soft light of the lamp, the flicker of the candle he's lit beside his plate, the warm aroma of the food, all of it creates a perfect atmosphere for the evening ahead. The quiet of the house wraps around him like a blanket, and Pierre feels a deep sense of calm in the simplicity of it all. As he eats, Pierre allows himself to savor each bite. There is no need to rush, no obligation to think about anything other than the food before him. The flavors are simple but satisfying, and each mouthful is a reminder that it is the small things in life, the quiet meals, the slow routines that bring the most peace. In this moment, he is fully present, enjoying the solitude, the quiet, the gentle pace of the evening. After finishing his meal, Pierre takes a moment to rest. He leans back in his chair, feeling the warmth of the evening settle in. There is no need to hurry to clean up, no need to fill the quiet with noise. Instead, he enjoys the stillness, letting his thoughts drift slowly. He reflects on the day, how the work in the shop has unfolded at its own pace, how the walk home felt peaceful, how the simple act of preparing a meal has brought him peace. There is a quiet satisfaction in knowing that today, just like every other day, has been filled with small, meaningful moments. Pierre takes a slow, deep breath, letting the calm of the evening fill him. The weight of the day has lifted, leaving him with only the quiet serenity of his home. He knows that tomorrow will come, bringing with it its own tasks and routines, but for now, he is content. There is nothing more to do but rest, and in this simplicity, Pierre finds the deepest form of peace. As the evening stretches on, Pierre tidies the kitchen, placing the dishes in the sink with the same slow, deliberate care that he brought to preparing the meal. He doesn't rush, doesn't hurry through it. The quiet, soothing rhythm of his routine is enough. It is a gentle reminder that life is full of simple moments, and it is in those moments that peace is found. In the quiet of his home, Pierre knows that he has everything he needs: a peaceful mind, a fulfilled heart, and a life that moves at its own pace. As the evening deepens, the soft glow of the fire continues to flicker in the hearth, its crackling warmth filling the room with a quiet, soothing rhythm. Pierre sits back in his favourite chair, the chair by the fire, where the world outside feels a distant memory. The room is bathed in the gentle light of the flames, and as the warmth spreads through him, Pierre allows himself to settle into the comfort of the moment. The worries of the day have melted away, leaving only the peaceful embrace of the evening. The fire crackles softly, each small pop of the burning wood adding a gentle soundtrack to the stillness of the room. Pierre closes his eyes for a moment, allowing the warmth of the fire to seep into his bones, relaxing every muscle, every thought. The simplicity of this moment, the quiet that surrounds him, is enough. There's no rush to be anywhere or do anything. There is only the steady, comforting glow of the fire, the soft crackling sound, and the peaceful stillness of the room. As he sits there, Pierre reflects on the simple joys of his day. The morning had unfolded at its usual pace, calm and unhurried. His time in the workshop had been productive, yet not rushed. Every piece of wood he had worked with had felt like an opportunity to connect with the present moment, to shape something meaningful with care. His walk home had been slow, filled with the quiet peace of the streets as the city slowly transitioned from day to night. The quiet dinner, the quiet routine, it had all been simple, but it had been enough. Pierre allows a small smile to cross his face, content in the quiet realization that life doesn't need to be filled with excitement or grand events to be fulfilling. It is in these simple moments, the ones we often overlook, that true peace is found. The slow pace of the day, the act of creating with his hands, the small exchanges with friends and neighbours, the peaceful solitude of the evening. They are the things that bring true contentment. The fire continues to burn gently, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Pierre watches the flames for a while, lost in the movement of the fire, in the way it shifts and changes, always moving yet always constant. There is a kind of peace in the fire's steady rhythm, in the way it continues to burn and crackle without hurry or effort. It's a reminder, Pierre thinks, that life itself moves in cycles with its own natural rhythm. There is no need to force things to happen. Everything unfolds in its own time, just as the fire burns without urgency. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the warm, comforting air, and as he exhales, he feels a deep sense of peace settle within him. There is nothing more he needs in this moment. No greater achievement to strive for, no more tasks to complete. The simple act of being here, of enjoying the warmth of the fire and the peace of the evening, is enough. And in that, there is a quiet sense of contentment. The room grows quieter still as the fire begins to burn lower, its soft light flickering as it gradually dims. Pierre doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need to hurry. He knows that tomorrow will come with its own tasks, its own rhythms. But for now, he is content in the stillness of the present. He allows himself to be fully present, knowing that this moment, however small, holds everything he needs. He settles deeper into his chair, his body relaxed, his mind at ease. The fire crackles softly, its warmth wrapping around him like a comforting embrace. The world outside may be full of noise and haste, but here, in the peace of his home, Pierre has found a place of quiet sanctuary. It is in these moments, these simple, quiet moments, that he finds the true meaning of peace. As the fire gently dies down, Pierre remains still, savouring the last flickers of warmth, knowing that this evening will remain with him long after the fire has gone out. There is no rush, no need to fill the silence. For now, the quiet of the evening is enough. And as he takes one last deep breath, Pierre feels a deep sense of gratitude for the simple joys of his day, for the peace he has found, and for the quiet moments that allow him to unwind, reflect, and be at peace with himself. As the evening grows deeper, the world outside quiets even further. The sounds of the day, distant conversations, the clattering of carts, the rush of footsteps, have all but disappeared, leaving only the soft whispers of the night. The air feels still, cool, and calm, as though time itself has slowed, inviting Pierre to take a moment to pause and reflect. He sits comfortably in his chair, his body relaxed, feeling the peaceful weight of the evening settle around him. The fire, now a soft bed of glowing embers, casts a warm, flickering light across the room. Pierre watches the flames dance gently, their rhythmic crackling a soothing sound that fills the silence with its steady beat. It is as though the fire itself is a reminder that life, much like the flames, moves at its own pace, neither rushed nor hasty, but steady and sure. Pierre takes a deep breath, feeling the calmness of the night seep into him, filling the spaces of his thoughts. He reflects on the day, how each moment unfolded slowly, each task completed without urgency, each step taken with intention. There is a sense of quiet fulfillment in knowing that he did not need to chase after anything today. That time itself was enough. The slow passing of time, like the steady burn of the fire, has given him everything he needed. There's no need to hurry, no need to push forward. In the quiet, Pierre understands that everything will come in its own time. The world outside may be full of noise and haste, but here, in this quiet space, Pierre feels at peace. The evening has a gentle way of unfolding, and he allows himself to be carried by it, allowing the passing of time to become a comfort rather than a pressure. There is something deeply reassuring in this, the knowledge that life does not need to be lived in a rush. It is in the quiet moments, the moments when we allow time to flow naturally, that we find the most peace. Pierre settles deeper into his chair, the warmth of the fire still comforting him, and he watches the light slowly fade as the fire burns lower. He feels no need to rush to bed or to fill the silence with unnecessary thoughts. There is a quiet joy in this peace, in knowing that the day has come to a close, that tomorrow will come when it is meant to, and that for now he is exactly where he needs to be. The ticking of the clock in the corner is the only sound that fills the room, a soft and steady reminder that time moves on, but at its own pace. Pierre doesn't feel the need to hurry or worry about the hours ahead. He knows that there is wisdom in allowing time to pass gently. The world will continue to turn, and Pierre will move with it. But in these moments of stillness, there is no need to rush. The time for rest will come in its own time, just as the time for work comes when it is needed. With a contented sigh, Pierre closes his eyes for a moment, letting the gentle rhythm of the night wash over him. The fire's warmth, the stillness of the room, the quiet passage of time. It is all enough. There is no pressure to do more, to accomplish more. In the quiet of the evening, Pierre finds a deep sense of peace, a peace that comes from simply being present in the moment, from letting go of any need to rush or strive. As the night deepens and the fire finally fades to a soft glow, Pierre feels his body relax, the weariness of the day gently lifting from him. The slow, soothing passing of time has carried him through the evening, and now, as the room grows darker, he knows that sleep will come when it is ready. There is no need to chase it, no need to force it. The night will unfold in its own time, and Pierre is content to rest in the quiet of it. In this gentle passage of time, Pierre knows that life does not need to be hurried. It is in the quiet, slow moments, the ones that seem small but hold great meaning, that we find our peace. And tonight, as the world around him slows down and the day comes to an end, Pierre feels deeply content, knowing that in the stillness of the evening, everything is as it should be. The world outside has fully embraced the quiet of the night, and within the comfort of his home, Pierre settles into his favourite chair by the hearth. The fire crackles softly, its flames dancing gently, casting a warm glow across the room. The flickering light is accompanied by the soothing, rhythmic sound of the fire, its crackles and pops filling the silence in a way that feels both calming and familiar. Pierre leans back, letting his body relax into the chair, his thoughts settling into the quiet peace of the moment. There is no need to speak, no need to fill the space with noise. The room, bathed in the gentle warmth of the fire, feels like a sanctuary from the world outside. Pierre closes his eyes for a moment, simply listening to the soft, steady crackling of the fire. He breathes in the warm, comforting air, letting the stillness of the evening wash over him. The silence is not empty or hollow. It is full of meaning, full of peace. As he sits there, Pierre reflects on how often life demands sound, constant chatter, the hum of activity, the rush of words and thoughts. But here, in this simple moment, there is no need for any of that. The quiet is enough. The fire, the gentle flicker of its flames, the soft sounds of the evening, all fill the space with a quiet, soothing energy that is more than enough to bring him peace. There is no rush, no hurry. Time moves slowly here, allowing him to fully embrace the stillness, to savour the comfort that it brings. Pierre smiles softly to himself, appreciating the simple joy of silence. It's not something that is often cherished in the busy world outside, but here, in the peace of his home, silence feels like a gift, an invitation to pause, to reflect and to simply be. In the stillness there are no demands, no pressures. It is just him, the fire, and the quiet that surrounds him. In this moment, Pierre feels deeply content. He understands that true peace is found not in the absence of sound, but in the ability to embrace silence without discomfort. Silence, he knows, is not an emptiness to be filled, but a space to be savoured, a place to find clarity and rest. The fire continues to crackle, its steady rhythm blending with the soft whispers of the night. The world outside may be full of noise, but here, Pierre knows that silence is its own kind of music. It is the sound of the earth breathing, of time moving slowly, of the world gently turning. The small sounds of the night, the rustling of leaves, the distant chirp of a bird add to the quiet symphony, and Pierre listens with a quiet joy. There is nothing else to focus on, nothing else to do but sit in this moment of stillness, letting it fill him with a sense of calm and contentment. Pierre takes a deep breath, letting the silence sink deeper into him, allowing it to soothe the parts of his mind that have been caught up in the busy rhythm of life. He doesn't need to worry about anything. There is no rush, no need to be anywhere or do anything. This moment of peace, this embrace of silence, is enough, and in it, Pierre feels the weight of the world lift from his shoulders, replaced by the lightness that comes from simply being present in the moment. The quiet stretches on, and Pierre allows himself to drift deeper into the peace of it. There's no hurry to leave the stillness behind. The fire burns softly, the room is bathed in a warm, golden glow, and Pierre is content in the quiet of the evening. He knows that tomorrow will come, but for now he is exactly where he needs to be. He is in the silence, and in the silence he has found everything he needs. With a soft sigh, Pierre lets go of the tension in his body, his thoughts drifting like the flames of the fire. There is no need to fill the silence with anything. In this moment, he is at peace. The quiet, the stillness, the gentle crackle of the fire, it is all enough. The simple joy of silence fills him completely, and Pierre knows that this is where true rest begins. The quiet of the evening lingers in Pierre's small home, the warmth from the fire still filling the room, but the day has come to a close. Outside, the streets of Paris are calm, the city now fully at rest. Inside, Pierre sits in the comforting stillness of his home, knowing that the time to sleep is near. But before he lets the night fully settle in, there's a small task he likes to do, one that brings him a quiet sense of peace and readiness for the day ahead. He moves slowly across the room, taking a deep breath as he approaches his workbench. The tools from today's project are scattered neatly, waiting to be tidied up. As Pierre begins to organize them, his movements are steady, unhurried. Each chisel, each mallet, each plane is placed carefully in its rightful spot. There is something calming in this ritual, a sense of closure to the day's work. The act of organizing his tools is not just about tidying up. It is a small but meaningful step that helps him prepare, mentally and physically, for what tomorrow will bring. Pierre runs his hand along the edge of the tools, feeling the familiar texture of the wooden handles, the smooth metal surfaces. Each piece has its place, each one serves a purpose, and there's a quiet joy in knowing that these simple tools will help him create again tomorrow. There's no rush to finish this task. The slow, methodical movement of putting things back in order gives Pierre a moment to reflect on the work he has done, the small progress made throughout the day. It's in these small acts of care, like organizing his tools, that he finds a sense of fulfillment. As he places the last of the tools in its proper place, Pierre steps back and surveys the workbench. It's neat now, the tools ready for the next project, and a sense of calm washes over him. He doesn't feel the weight of any burden. There's no pressure for the work to be perfect or done quickly. In these quiet moments of preparation, Pierre realizes that life, much like his work, doesn't need to be rushed. Each day, each task, is enough as long as it is approached with care, patience, and mindfulness. Pierre then sets out the materials he will need for tomorrow, a fresh piece of wood, a few sketches, and his notebook. He takes his time with each item, placing it just so, creating a peaceful sense of order. It is a small task, but one that brings him a quiet sense of control over the day to come. By the time he finishes, the workshop is ready, and so is he. There is no uncertainty, no rush to begin. Tomorrow will come, and when it does, Pierre will face it with the same steady, calm rhythm that has defined his life. As Pierre turns off the lamp beside his workbench, the room softens into a peaceful dimness. He knows that tomorrow will be another quiet day, another opportunity to do something meaningful, no matter how small. But for now, he is content to rest, knowing that he has taken care of the little things, the things that make a difference in the quiet flow of life. There is peace in these small moments of preparation, and Pierre feels ready for what lies ahead. With a final glance around the room, Pierre steps back from the workshop, leaving it in its peaceful stillness. The evening is now fully here, and he feels a deep sense of contentment in the quiet end of the day. Tomorrow is already waiting for him, but tonight he can rest without worry, knowing that he has done what he can to prepare, to set the stage for the gentle rhythm of the day to come. He steps into the next room, feeling the weight of the day's work ease off his shoulders. He takes a slow, deep breath, and with a contented sigh, he prepares for bed. The world outside may continue to spin, but in this moment, Pierre is at peace. He knows that tomorrow will unfold, and when it does, he will meet it with the same quiet dedication he brings to each day. The first light of dawn gently spreads across the sky, a soft glow that slowly pulls Pierre from his slumber. The room is still, and the quiet of the morning feels like a comforting embrace, wrapping around him in the gentle calm of the day's beginning. The world outside is still, the city of Paris held in the soft early silence before it wakes fully. Pierre stretches slowly, his body waking up at its own pace with no rush, no urgency. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool, fresh air that slips in through the open window. The peacefulness of the morning seeps into him, and he allows himself a few quiet moments to simply lie there, appreciating the tranquility. The day is new, but it doesn't feel like something to be conquered or rushed. Instead, it feels like a continuation of the gentle rhythm that Pierre has come to cherish, a rhythm that moves slowly and steadily, one small step at a time. With a soft sigh, Pierre slowly sits up, his feet touching the cool wooden floor. The quiet of the morning seems to hang in the air, and as he stands, he feels the weight of the day ahead lift away. There's no need to rush through anything. Each part of the morning is a small gift, each movement, each breath, an invitation to be present in the moment. He moves towards the wash basin with deliberate care, splashing cool water on his face. The sensation is refreshing, waking him gently, without force. Pierre looks at his reflection in the small mirror, the soft light of the early morning casting a calm glow on his face. There's no hurry, no need to begin the day with a rush. The world outside may be moving quickly, but Pierre knows that the peace of the morning lies in taking his time, in embracing the slow pace of his life. As he moves to prepare his breakfast, Pierre is aware of the simple joy of the routine, the familiar process of making tea, the gentle sound of the kettle heating on the stove, the warmth of the bread as he slices it. Each small act fills him with a sense of calm. There is no need for extravagance, no need for complexity. The simplicity of the morning is enough. As the tea steeps and the bread toasts, Pierre stands by the window for a moment, watching the city slowly stir. The first few rays of sunlight touch the rooftops, casting long shadows across the cobblestone streets below. Pierre smiles softly to himself, appreciating the stillness of the moment. It is in these quiet routines, in the small, familiar acts of the day, that he finds his peace. There is wisdom in this simplicity, the understanding that life is not always about what we achieve, but about how we experience the moments between the achievements. The slow rhythm of the morning, the soft routine of getting ready for the day, brings him a sense of contentment that doesn't come from rushing, but from being present. As he sits down to enjoy his breakfast, Pierre reflects on how much of life is spent in anticipation, in the hurry to reach the next destination or task. But here, in the stillness of his home, he is reminded that peace is found in the present moment, the small, quiet moments that fill the day, the ones that are often overlooked but hold the most meaning. The world may demand speed, but here, in his own space, Pierre has learned that slowing down, taking the time to enjoy each step, is where true contentment lies. He finishes his breakfast slowly, savouring each bite, and then takes a moment to sit back and appreciate the calm of the morning. There is no need to rush. The day will unfold at its own pace, and Pierre will move with it, step by step, in the rhythm that he has come to value. Pierre gets ready for the day ahead, but it's not a rushed process. He takes his time, knowing that today, like every day, will come gently, without force, and in this simple, slow pace, he finds a sense of peace that will carry him through the rest of the day. The afternoon light is soft, casting a gentle glow over the city as Pierre steps outside for a quiet walk. The streets of Paris are still calm, the hustle and bustle of the day beginning to fade as the evening approaches. With each step, Pierre feels a sense of peace wash over him, knowing that today, like many days before, he has no need to rush. His pace is slow, measured as he walks toward the River Seine, the familiar path leading him to the soothing calm of the water. As he reaches the riverbank, Pierre pauses for a moment, taking in the view before him. The river flows steadily, its surface shimmering gently in the fading sunlight. The soft murmur of the water moving over the stones is a sound that Pierre has always found calming, a reminder that, like the river, time moves at its own pace. Slow, steady, and without hurry. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool, fresh air that carries the scent of the water and the trees lining the river. The breeze is gentle, offering a soft touch to his face, and for a brief moment, Pierre allows himself to simply be. The river, with its rhythmic flow, feels like a reflection of his own peaceful pace. Pierre begins to walk slowly along the riverbank, his footsteps quiet against the cobblestones. He watches the water ripple softly, the reflections of the buildings and the sky dancing gently on the surface. The calmness of the scene invites him to reflect, to let his thoughts drift in harmony with the flow of the river. There is no rush, no urgency, only the gentle rhythm of the water and the soft breeze that guides his steps. As he continues along the river, Pierre notices the small details that bring him peace. The way the leaves on the trees sway in the breeze, the distant sounds of a boat's oars softly dipping into the water, the faint sound of birds calling in the distance. Each of these small, quiet moments adds to the sense of calm that surrounds him, and he allows himself to fully appreciate them. Life, he reflects, does not need to be filled with constant movement or noise to be meaningful. It is in these quiet moments, the ones that often go unnoticed, that true peace is found. Pierre feels a deep sense of gratitude for these walks by the Seine, for this peaceful escape from the busy city. The world around him may be filled with activity, but here, beside the river, there is a gentle stillness, a peaceful rhythm that Pierre can tune into. It is a reminder that no matter how fast the world moves, we can always find a moment to slow down, to pause, and to reconnect with the simplicity of life. The river continues to flow beside him, steady and unhurried, and Pierre finds comfort in its constant, unwavering movement. The water does not rush to its destination, nor does it worry about the path it must take. It simply flows, moving with the rhythm of nature, embracing each moment as it comes. And in this, Pierre finds a quiet lesson, a reminder that life is not about rushing to the next task or destination, but about embracing the present, about moving at our own pace and letting each moment unfold naturally. As the sun begins to dip lower in the sky, casting a warm golden glow across the river, Pierre feels the peacefulness of the walk settle deeply into him, the quiet of the water, the coolness of the breeze, and the soft sounds of the city beginning to quiet. All of these small moments come together to create a perfect escape, a gentle respite from the demands of the day. Pierre smiles softly to himself, knowing that, in this moment, he has everything he needs. The world will continue on, but here, beside the river, time moves slowly, and for now, that is enough. The workshop is still, the only sound the soft, rhythmic scraping of the chisel against the wood. Pierre stands at his workbench, absorbed in the task at hand. The tools neatly arranged around him are extensions of his hands, each one moving with purpose, each one contributing to the quiet symphony of the day. In the solitude of the workshop, time seems to slow, and Pierre feels a deep sense of contentment. He is alone, but the solitude is not lonely. It is a space where he can immerse himself completely in his work, where the outside world feels distant, and the only thing that matters is the steady progress of the project in front of him. There is no rush, no pressure to move faster. The pace of the work is his own, and in that, he finds peace. Pierre runs his fingers along the smooth surface of the wood, appreciating its texture, its grain, the way it responds to each stroke of the tool. Each cut, each gentle plane of the wood brings the piece closer to life, but it is the process, the act of working with his hands, that fills him with satisfaction. The wood does not demand haste, and neither does the work. It is a slow, deliberate process, and Pierre enjoys every moment of it. In this space, Pierre reflects on the beauty of working at his own pace. In a world that often moves too quickly, where everything is rushed and time feels scarce, the workshop is a refuge. Here, time does not press against him. It moves slowly, giving him the space to savor each task. The act of shaping the wood is a quiet meditation, a way to reconnect with himself and the world around him. He understands now, more than ever, that it is not the speed of life that brings fulfillment, but the quiet moments of focus, the small, steady steps that lead to meaningful progress. The soft light of the workshop casts a golden glow on the wooden beams, and the warmth of the room envelops Pierre as he works. The fire, still glowing in the corner, crackles softly, its flames dancing with the same calm rhythm as his work. The flickering light adds to the tranquility of the space, and Pierre finds comfort in the simplicity of it all. There's no need for distractions, no need to hurry. Everything he needs is right here, in this quiet space, and in the stillness, he finds peace. He pauses for a moment, stepping back from the workbench to survey the progress. The piece is coming together, slowly but surely, and Pierre smiles softly to himself. There is no sense of urgency to finish. The work will be completed in its own time. He is content to let it unfold, knowing that the process is as meaningful as the finished product. The workshop is a space where each moment of the day is enough, where the quiet rhythm of creation is a reminder that life is not meant to be rushed. Pierre continues his work, the sound of the tools blending with the peaceful silence of the room. There is no need to fill the space with noise or hurry through the tasks. The work itself is enough, and in this simple, steady rhythm, Pierre feels the weight of the world lift from his shoulders. There is no pressure to do more, to be more. In this solitude, Pierre finds a deep sense of peace, a peace that comes from the quiet act of creation and the gentle pace of his work. As the hours pass, the light outside begins to fade, but Pierre remains focused, his movements slow and deliberate. The workshop is still, but it is not empty. It is filled with the sound of creation, with the presence of the work. The solitude, instead of feeling isolating, feels like a gift. It is in these quiet moments, when he is alone with his thoughts and the work before him, that Pierre finds his truest sense of fulfillment. And as the day draws to a close, Pierre sets his tools down, the work completed for the moment. He steps back and looks at the piece he has created, feeling a quiet satisfaction in the steady progress made. The solitude of the workshop has allowed him to work at his own pace, to take the time to create something meaningful, and in that, he finds peace. As the evening sky deepens into shades of blue and violet, Pierre returns home after a peaceful day in his workshop. The familiar comfort of his house welcomes him, its quiet embrace filling him with a sense of calm. The warmth from the hearth still lingers in the air, wrapping around him like a soft blanket, and the faint aroma of a simple meal being prepared drifts through the house. He smiles softly, knowing that the evening will unfold slowly, without haste, just as he likes it. Inside, the soft murmur of voices welcomes him. His family is already gathered around the table, his wife with her gentle smile, and their children, who have already settled into their places. The room is filled with the soft glow of candlelight, casting long, comforting shadows on the walls. There is no rush, no noise. The world outside may be moving quickly, but inside time moves at its own pace. Pierre takes a deep breath, allowing the peacefulness of the moment to fill him. There is something deeply comforting in the simple act of coming together for a meal, of sharing the quiet space of home with those you love. He takes his seat at the table, the familiar warmth of his loved ones surrounding him. There is no need for elaborate conversation or grand plans, just the quiet, soothing rhythm of shared time. The meal before them is simple: fresh bread, a light vegetable stew, and a bowl of fruit. Pierre takes a moment to appreciate the simplicity of it all. It's not the richness of the food that matters, but the warmth of the shared experience, the comfort that comes from sitting together, enjoying each other's company. Each bite is savoured slowly. Each conversation is carried in a gentle, unhurried flow. The pace of the evening is slow, allowing each moment to linger, each word to be spoken with care. As they eat, the conversation flows, soft and easy. They speak of simple things, what the children have learned today, the weather outside, plans for the week ahead. But there is a quiet joy in it all. The small exchanges, the shared laughter, the comfort of familiar voices. These are the moments that make up the fabric of a life well lived. Pierre listens intently, enjoying the simple pleasure of hearing his loved ones speak, feeling the gentle pull of time as it slows even further. There is no rush, no need to move on to the next task or conversation. Everything unfolds at its own pace, and Pierre finds deep contentment in that. It's a reminder that the best moments of life don't come from chasing after something, but from simply being present in the quiet spaces in between. The comfort of this evening, of being surrounded by the people he loves, is enough. It is in these small moments that the heart finds its peace. As the meal comes to a close, the dishes are cleared, and the room settles into a gentle stillness. The children, with sleepy eyes, are content and calm, the quiet of the evening wrapping around them as they finish their evening routines. Pierre's wife stands by the window, watching the last light of the day fade, her presence a steady and comforting anchor. The soft hum of the house, the steady rhythm of the day's end, fills the space with a sense of peacefulness that Pierre deeply appreciates. As the evening grows quieter, Pierre takes a moment to reflect on how much these simple moments mean to him. The noise of the world may continue outside, but inside, in the warmth of his home and the presence of his loved ones, he feels a deep sense of peace. He understands now that happiness does not come from grand achievements or material wealth. It comes from the small, meaningful moments, the quiet dinners, the shared laughter, the comfort of family, that fill our hearts with love and contentment. Pierre stands and moves over to his family, pulling his wife gently into a quiet embrace, his children nestled close. In this moment, there is no need for more. There is only the peace that comes from being together, from knowing that in this simple, slow-paced life, he has everything he needs. The evening comes to a peaceful close, and as the fire burns low, Pierre feels a deep sense of gratitude for this simple, beautiful life. The rush of the world outside may continue, but here, in his home, Pierre knows that peace can always be found in the simple moments, in the quiet time spent with those he loves. After the last bite of dinner has been savoured, and the evening quiet has settled over his home, Pierre steps outside into the cool night air. The world around him feels calm, as though the bustling city of Paris, so full of life during the day, has slowed its pace and now rests under the quiet embrace of the night. The sky above is clear, its deep blue canvas speckled with countless stars, twinkling softly, as if each one is whispering a quiet lullaby to the world below. Pierre gazes up, allowing the beauty of the night sky to fill him with a sense of awe and peace. The vastness of the stars, the softness of the night air, the stillness of the world, everything around him feels in perfect harmony. There is no rush, no worry. In this moment, Pierre finds solace in the quiet presence of the universe. He steps a little further into the garden, his footsteps light on the earth, and sits on a bench under the shelter of a tree. The rustling of the leaves is faint, barely a whisper in the stillness, but it adds to the calm rhythm of the night. The air is cool but not uncomfortable, a gentle breeze that brushes against his face, offering a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the house he'd just left behind. Pierre closes his eyes for a moment, allowing himself to simply be, to be present in the serenity of the evening. The peace of the night sky, Pierre thinks, is a reminder that there is no need to rush through life. Just as the stars take their time to shine, just as the moon slowly rises and sets, so too can life unfold at its own gentle pace. There is wisdom in the stillness of the night. In the quiet of the sky, Pierre finds a deep sense of reassurance. It is a reminder that all things, in their own time, will come to be. There is no need to chase after anything or strive for more. All that is needed is to be present in the moment, to find peace in the simplicity of the world around him. He takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool air, and reflects on the day. There is a contentment in knowing that the day's work is done, that the small, meaningful moments of life have been enjoyed, and that there is nothing left to do but rest. The stars, each one shining quietly above him, seem to echo this sentiment. They remind him that peace is not found in the hustle of the world, but in these quiet moments, when the world slows, when the night embraces us, and when we take the time to rest and reflect. Pierre watches as the stars twinkle softly, the night sky vast and comforting in its stillness. The city of Paris is now quiet, the sounds of the day having faded away, leaving only the peaceful hum of the evening. In the distance he can hear the soft murmur of the river, the occasional rustling of the trees, but the world feels distant, as if it has paused for a moment to allow him this peace. The night sky above him feels like a gentle reminder to let go of worries, to release the stresses of the day, and to trust that, like the stars in the sky, everything will unfold in its own time. Pierre feels a deep sense of calm, knowing that the rhythm of life moves at its own pace. There is no need to force anything or hurry through the moments. The stars, in their quiet, patient way, show him that everything will come together as it should. With a soft sigh, Pierre allows himself to relax deeper into the bench, his body feeling lighter with every passing moment. The cool breeze, the stillness of the night, and the vastness of the sky all combine to offer him a perfect sense of peace. He knows that the world outside may continue to move, but here, under the quiet, watchful stars, Pierre is reminded that peace can always be found in the simplest of moments, the ones that allow us to pause, to breathe, and to simply be. The night sky stretches on, endless and calming, as Pierre continues to gaze upward, feeling the weight of the day slip away. He knows that tomorrow will come, but for now, the peace of the night is enough. The stars twinkle above him, a gentle reminder that life, much like the night sky, is vast, beautiful, and full of quiet moments that bring peace when we take the time to notice them. The night has fully settled in, and the stillness of the world outside seems to deepen with each passing moment. Inside, Pierre moves slowly through the quiet of his home, savouring the tranquility that fills every corner of the room. The fire has long since burned down to soft embers, leaving behind only a gentle warmth that lingers in the air. The peaceful hum of the evening wraps around him, and Pierre knows that it is time to prepare for rest, to allow the day's work and the world's noise to drift away. He steps into his small, simple bedroom, the coolness of the room offering a soothing contrast to the warmth of the living space. The bed, neatly made, invites him to pause for a moment before he fully settles in. Pierre takes a deep breath, appreciating the quiet comfort of his home. There's no rush now, no need for anything to be done. The day has been fulfilled, and now the time for rest has arrived. He moves slowly as he changes into his comfortable night clothes, taking his time with each movement. There is something deeply satisfying in the act of unwinding, in the quiet ritual of preparing for bed. Pierre folds his clothes neatly, placing them at the foot of the bed, the small task grounding him in the present moment. It's a small act, but it holds meaning, a reminder that the day is over, that it's time to let go, to relax, and to embrace the peacefulness of the night. As Pierre settles into bed, he pulls the soft covers over him, feeling the cool sheets wrap around him in a gentle embrace. He takes a moment to adjust the pillow beneath his head, making sure it's just right. The room is quiet, the faintest sound of the wind outside brushing against the windows. There's no hurry to fall asleep. The night invites him to let go of any remaining thoughts, to simply be. He closes his eyes for a moment, letting the stillness fill him completely. There is a quiet comfort in the darkness, in the softness of the bed, and in the knowledge that tomorrow will bring another peaceful day. Pierre knows that life will continue, that the world will wake again with its own rhythm. But for now, he is content to be in this moment, at rest. There is no need to worry about tomorrow, no need to rush through anything. In the stillness of the night, everything is exactly as it should be. The quiet of the room surrounds him, offering peace and solace. The day has been filled with simple moments, small joys, quiet tasks, and meaningful reflections. And now, in the comfort of his bed, Pierre feels the weight of the world lift from his shoulders. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to think about. He has done enough. The peace of the night settles into him, and he allows himself to relax completely, knowing that in this stillness, he is at peace. As the minutes pass, the gentle sounds of the night, perhaps the faint rustling of leaves outside, the quiet hum of the house, become a lullaby, soothing him into a deeper calm. Pierre feels his body relax into the softness of the bed, his muscles unwinding, his breath slowing. The quiet of the night, the comfort of his surroundings, and the knowledge that tomorrow will come slowly, just like today, fill him with a deep sense of contentment. He drifts off slowly, each breath deeper than the last, the peace of the night wrapping around him like a soft blanket. The world outside may be full of noise and activity, but here, in this quiet room, Pierre finds the peace he has been seeking all day. Tomorrow will come when it is meant to, and for now, he is content in the stillness of the night. Pierre lies quietly in his bed, the softness of the sheets surrounding him like a gentle cocoon. The room is still, the night embracing him in its quiet solitude. The faint light from the dying embers of the fire flickers softly across the room, casting a warm glow that gently fades with the passing moments. Outside, the world has settled into a deep hush, the city's bustle now a distant memory. Pierre is at peace, surrounded by the comfort of his home and the soothing silence of the night. As he closes his eyes, he allows his mind to drift, not rushing to fall asleep, but instead savouring the quiet space between wakefulness and rest. The soft sound of the fire crackling, now barely audible, fills the room with a soothing rhythm. Each soft crackle, each gentle shift of the embers seems to echo the calm that has settled within him. Pierre breathes deeply, the rhythm of his breathing slowing, matching the gentle pace of the night. There is no need to hurry, no need to think of anything else. In this moment, all that matters is the stillness, the peace that surrounds him. He reflects on the simple joys of the day, how the morning light had filled his room with warmth, how he had worked steadily in his workshop, how the evening had come gently, bringing with it a sense of fulfillment. The quiet walks, the calm moments shared with his family, and the peace of the night sky, all of these small moments have woven together into a day that has brought him comfort and satisfaction. There is no rush to relive these moments. Instead, Pierre simply lets them settle in his mind, enjoying the soft recollection of each peaceful scene. As he lets his thoughts wander, he reflects on how life doesn't need to be full of excitement to be fulfilling. It is in these quiet, slow moments, the ones where time seems to move without haste, that true peace is found. The world outside may be moving quickly, but here, in this moment of rest, Pierre feels the weight of the day lift from his shoulders. The gentle rhythm of his breathing, the quiet of the room, and the soft warmth of the bed all work together to create the perfect environment for rest. Pierre feels his body relax further into the mattress, each muscle unwinding, each breath becoming deeper and slower. The thoughts that once filled his mind begin to fade, replaced by the quiet peace of the night. He doesn't try to force sleep to come. Instead, he allows it to come naturally, as it always does. In the stillness of the night, there is no need to worry, no need to do anything. The world will continue to turn, but for now, Pierre is content in the peace of his own thoughts, the softness of his bed, and the calm rhythm of the night. With each passing minute, his mind grows quieter, his thoughts more distant. The world outside fades into a gentle blur as Pierre drifts further into the comfort of sleep. The last traces of the fire's warmth, the soft hum of the night, and the peaceful moments of his day all blend together, wrapping him in a deep, restful calm. In the silence of the night, Pierre finally surrenders to sleep, knowing that tomorrow will come in its own time, just as today did. For now, he is at rest, embraced by the stillness of the world and the peace he has found in the simple moments of his life. The soft glow of dawn gradually fills the room, casting gentle light across Pierre's small bedroom. The cool morning air seeps through the window, carrying with it the peaceful promise of a new day. Pierre stirs slowly, the quiet of the night still lingering around him, and for a moment he simply lies there, basking in the calm of the morning. There is no hurry to wake, no rush to begin the day, just the steady, soothing rhythm of time unfolding at its own pace. He takes a slow, deep breath, letting the cool morning air fill his lungs, and then releases it gently. Pierre feels no weight pressing upon him, no expectations to meet. Instead, there is a quiet sense of contentment as the day begins. His eyes open, and he looks toward the window, where the first rays of sunlight now filter through the curtains. The soft light illuminates the room, casting long shadows on the wooden floor, and Pierre smiles softly. It's the simple things, the light, the stillness, the quiet beginning of the day, that bring him peace. As he stretches, feeling the weight of sleep lift from his body, Pierre reflects on how he has come to appreciate these peaceful moments. Life, he thinks, does not need to be full of grand achievements or bustling activity. It is in these quiet moments, these slow starts to the day, that true contentment is found. Each new day, a chance to live simply, to embrace the small joys, to move at a pace that feels right for him. Pierre rises from bed, the familiar rhythm of his morning unfolding as it always does. He moves toward the window, opening it just enough to let in the fresh air. The soft sounds of the city outside begin to stir, but the world is still calm. The pace of life, slow and unhurried. Pierre smiles to himself, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the simple life he leads, a life where time moves at its own gentle pace, where there is space to breathe, to reflect, and to appreciate the quiet moments that fill each day. He moves to the wash basin, splashing cool water on his face to fully awaken. The sensation is refreshing, like a gentle reminder to slow down, to take the time to care for himself. As he looks at his reflection in the mirror, he feels a quiet sense of peace, knowing that today, like every other day, will unfold slowly and with intention. There is no need to rush, no need to force anything. Pierre knows that the best moments in life come when we allow ourselves to move with the rhythm of the day, when we embrace the simplicity of the present. As he prepares his breakfast, simple bread, tea and fruit, Pierre takes his time, savouring each moment. The act of preparing food, of nurturing himself with simple, wholesome ingredients, brings him comfort. The process, though quiet and routine, is filled with meaning. Each task is done with care and attention, allowing him to fully immerse himself in the present moment. The tea steeps gently, the bread toasts slowly, and Pierre is content in the simplicity of it all. He sits by the window with his breakfast, watching the world outside come to life. The streets are now waking up, with the first few people beginning their day. Yet, there is still a sense of calm in the air, a tranquility that surrounds him. Pierre feels grateful for this moment, the peace of the morning, the quiet of the city, and the stillness that fills his home. It is in these simple, peaceful moments that he finds the greatest joy. As the day continues to unfold, Pierre knows that he will move at his own pace, with no rush to meet the demands of the world. The rhythm of the day will guide him, but he will take each moment as it comes, embracing the calmness of life as it gently moves forward. There is wisdom in the quiet pace of the morning, a reminder that true peace is not found in rushing, but in slowing down, in savouring the present, and in finding gratitude for the simple joys that each day brings. With a final sip of tea, Pierre finishes his breakfast and begins his day, knowing that whatever it may hold, he will meet it with the same sense of calm and gratitude that he carries with him every morning. The morning light pours softly into Pierre's home, as it has every day before. It is a light that feels familiar, gentle, and unhurried. As the day begins, Pierre rises from his bed with the same quiet rhythm that has guided his life for as long as he can remember. The world outside may be bustling, But within the comfort of his home, time moves slowly, unencumbered by the demands of a fast-paced world. There is no rush, no pressure. There is only the peaceful unfolding of another day. Pierre goes through his morning routine, each task done with care and intention. The slow, deliberate movements of washing his face, brewing his tea, and preparing his simple breakfast all serve as a reminder of the small joys that fill his life. These quiet moments of routine, though simple, are meaningful. They bring him peace, grounding him in the present and allowing him to appreciate the beauty of a life lived at a steady pace. As the day progresses, Pierre moves to his workshop. The tools are familiar, each one in its place, waiting for his gentle touch. The wood is smooth beneath his hands, the task ahead simple yet fulfilling. There is no pressure to complete the work quickly or to reach some far-off goal. Each piece of wood, each cut is done with patience, with mindfulness, and with a quiet joy. The workshop is peaceful, the steady rhythm of work providing a soothing soundtrack to the slow flow of the day. Pierre reflects, as he often does, on how much of life is lived in these simple moments. The world around him is full of noise, of expectations, of people rushing from one thing to the next. Yet, here in his workshop, Pierre knows that life does not need to be complicated. There is beauty in the ordinary, in the small acts of creating, of being present in the moment. He understands now, more than ever, that peace is found not in the grand moments, but in the quiet ones, the ones where time slows down, where the world pauses for a breath. As the day draws to a close, Pierre takes his time cleaning up the workshop, putting his tools away with the same care he used when he started the day. The work is done, and there's no rush to leave. The peaceful rhythm of the day continues, unhurried and calm. He steps outside for a moment, enjoying the cool evening air, watching the world slowly transition from day to night. The city, just like the workshop, moves at its own pace, and Pierre feels connected to it in a quiet, profound way. The cycle continues, with each day unfolding in its own time. There is no need for more. The small moments, the quiet reflections, the steady work, the simple pleasures are enough to bring him peace. Pierre has learned that life does not need to be lived in a rush, that the true beauty of life is found in its simplicity. And so, each day he embraces the stillness, the quiet rhythm that he has come to cherish, savouring each moment for what it is, knowing that in the simplicity of it all, he has everything he needs. As the sun sets and the evening begins to settle in, Pierre takes a deep breath, feeling content. The world may move quickly, but here in his home, in his workshop, time moves at its own gentle pace. There is peace in this, and that peace is enough. Tomorrow will come just as it always does, but for now Pierre is at rest, knowing that in this quiet life he has found something far more valuable than the pursuit of speed or success, the peace that comes from simply being present, from savouring the quiet rhythm of life, unchanged.